All right, we're good. So yeah, I made the sauce. They got those San Marzano tomatoes, the whole ones from Wally World. And dude, I put 2 cans of those in there. I made it in the blender and all that shit, and then let it cook basically for 6-7 hours, and stirred it once in a while. It thickened up beautifully. It was just all the acidity went away. It was just sweet and tomatoey. So fucking good. Put a bunch of thyme in there, garlic, basil, olive oil, just delicious sauce. And yeah, the manicotti the cheese was fucking out. It was ricotta, mozzarella, like fresh stuff, not shredded shit. Um, Ricotta, mozzarella, goat cheese, and then Romano because I didn't have Parmesan. So it's close enough to salty, hard cheese. And then, yeah, you saute a shallot, a big one, in butter, and then you add sun-dried tomatoes, fresh thyme, and spinach. And you get it all like reduced down, and then you put garlic in at the end. And then you let that cool and then throw it into the cheese, and then use a little pastry bag and shit and stuff the noodle. Oh my god! I mean, it's so fucking good.
That sounds delicious.
It's tedious, but like it made enough for like 2.5 meals because you could put them in the fridge for a few days. So just heat them up in the oven. God, so good.
It's the best thing about like actually preparing a meal is like I'll have like 2-3 days just of that to eat.
Oh god, yeah. Yeah, it's actually so much more cost effective cooking at home.
And it just stays better than fucking like fast food. If you don't eat the fast,
for sure.
like noodles, right? I think noodles is probably like one of the only ones that actually still stays. But like if you get like chicken or something or McDonald's,
it's never better the next day.
Right. It just tastes like trash.
Yeah, it's I don't know, the cheese was the most expensive part, but I actually got good cheese this time. Damn, was it worth it? But
cheese can definitely make
I got an argument on one of the other discords that I'm on with a British guy who was saying that
it's British. They conquered the entire world because their fucking palate is trash, and yet they still don't know how to fucking cook. So
yeah, but he was saying that our cheese in Wisconsin doesn't compare to like European cheese.
Yeah, because they're all fucking lactose intolerant. What a fucking dipshit.
Yeah.
Don't make us tell you again, goddamn Britain. We did it once. And then there was a stalemate. We'll do it again.
Anytime a Brit says something snarky and snide like that, I just go, dude, the last time any American gave a flying fuck about what some limey piece of shit had to say was July 3rd, 1776. Go fuck yourself, you fucking child. So, yeah. I mean, okay, so European cheese is good, right? Where do you think the Wisconsin cheesemakers got that from? But here's the thing, is you take all of the different regional cheeses from Europe and you put them in one area, and you got all these amazing cheeses and these different kinds that pop up over here. So you got European cheese, plus you've got new cheese that started here. We win.
Colby cheese. Colby cheese was invented in Colby, Wisconsin.
It's fucking amazing. Yeah.
And it's
really
great. Yeah.
Oh, that makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
Like you drive.
Why do you think it's called Colby?
Yeah, you drive on the highway through this town and you blink and you're through it. It's one of those towns.
Yeah, it's right next to Abbotsford. Like you can't even tell the difference between Abbotsford and Colby.
Yeah, it's just it's a little blip on the highway.
It's only like 30 minutes away from me.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
What other factories up near Colby? Because there's like a really bad one, because I think sectionals for track used to be up there. And so if it was like a certain time of the week when sectionals was, the town would smell like shit. Because there's like a
there used to be a paper mill in Colby.
Maybe that's what it was.
Paper mills stink.
It was fucking awful.
Yeah, they do.
They stink really bad.
The big one in Rapids closed down 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago.
Oh.
And that was, I shit you not, that was 970 jobs that just disappeared when that plant closed down.
That's how it works.
Rapids isn't that big of a town either. So that's pretty sizable population.
It's about 40,000.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
But no, that was just the paper mill jobs, the 970. That wasn't including all of the satellite jobs that were attached to the paper mill.
Oh, for every one job in a factory has got 5 jobs created, including that one.
Yeah,
because of all the people that are in the community. Yeah,
my job didn't exist without that paper mill, basically.
Shit. I know, like what was it? I know in high school, when we were in high school, Mike, there's a huge thing to try to make sure that Polaris didn't move their plant out of the town because that would have fucking killed Osceola.
Well, it almost did when they moved to Mexico.
Yeah.
Was Osceola ever alive though? I mean,
oh yeah, dude. Dude, we had Champion Aircraft. They made airplanes for the entire fucking world at one point. And
yeah.
we have Polaris. They're back now. The fucking Polaris Rangers that we saw in Iraq. Yeah.
Yep.
They also have that. What is that? That I think that's the other firm that does all the mocks for fire engines.
Oh, Custom Fire.
Yeah, Custom Fire.
Custom Fire. They build custom fire trucks for departments all over the country.
Yeah.
Like, because they'll go out and test drive them, and you'll see like LAPD or Chicago Fire and all that shit on the side. Like they'll put the decals on, and they'll go and test drive it and shit. And it's like, holy fuck.
Pierce Fire Apparatus is over in Appleton. That I'm fucking tired. Leave me alone. I'm running on like 6 hours of sleep.
That's really cute.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, Osceola's actually did have quite a bit of industry at one point or the other. Well, actually, for the entire duration up until recently when they started trying to. Well, Polaris went to Mexico for a few years, and they realized that they're actually not saving money.
Well, yeah, because like all the diehard people in Wisconsin that kept buying all their products every year because of the plant being there, and then they lose that, and you're like, well, fuck that. We're not gonna buy that shit anymore.
Yeah, and
I'm not going to spend the money on something that's made in Mexico when I can get something that I actually want.
Yeah,
right.
Which is generally how that shit goes.
Well, like, Polaris and Indian motorcycles. That's like the. That was like
they had Victory motorcycles too.
Yep.
They basically
Victory, not Indian. I'm sorry, Victory, not Indian. My bad, I misspoke.
Well, now they have Indian because they basically they bought the Indian name, and then after Indian was up and running, then they shut down Victory.
Yep, that's what happened. Because I remember when I was growing up, it was Victory, and then that whole thing.
And a lot of people were pissed off when Victory disappeared.
Yeah, because they made good shit.
Yeah.
So I mean, Polaris they always made good shit until they decided to go to Mexico.
Yeah, the Victories were actually a direct competitor with Harley Davidson right there towards the end, the last few model years.
Yeah, they were good shit, and they were American.
And they were better. Yeah. And they were better quality.
Mm-hmm. And cheaper.
Like they actually used modern engine designs instead of engine designs that were rehashed from 1930s blueprints. Don't even get me started on Harleys.
If we could just
hate Harleys.
If we could just take the like building things to fucking last like we did in the 30s, but just like put modern engineering into it instead of having the engineering capacity of I want this to go obsolete in 5 years, so they have to buy it.
Well, the reason why shit from back then works for so long is because it was built with such large tolerances. So there was very little wear because there was very little contact between the components. You know, you could toss a cat through the tolerances on some of those engines. They didn't put out a lot of power, but they'd run forever.
Shifting gears, pun intended. You said you were watching that rattle can video. Did you see the end result?
Yeah.
It turned out fucking awesome. I'm really happy.
Anybody who's watching, if you haven't seen it, go fucking watch it. It's only like 9 minutes long, and you don't even need to listen to Mike. You can mute the whole thing.
Yeah, I watch all of his channel.
Yeah, it's that one I just sped up the spray paint part.
And the best part is Mike didn't even show his face in that video. He was like one of those hands-only YouTubers where you only see their hands in the video that he makes fun of.
I can't jerk off to this. What the fuck?
I know. Well, I'll be releasing some more that have my ugly mug in there, so you can snap one off at your leisure.
Thank you.
I'm actually uploading it right now, which is why I'm lagging a little bit. So
didn't even notice.
Well, I'm noticing it because I'm talking over you guys, but
I don't think you're talking over us at all.
Oh, on my end I am. So
well, he does have himself positioned above you on my screen.
Ooh, that's cute. I think we're all on the same because Chris is on the bottom on everybody's screen. He's a power bottom.
Gotta know how to use those hips.
Yeah, it's that Space Force hoodie.
Space Force.
Fuck. Yeah, so I made a video of all the helmets in that picture that I posted on Discord. All the shit that I'm gonna be selling. It's a lot of really cool shit. Like stuff that I'm just like, got all this stuff just sitting here. And you do the thing where you like go through each thing and you go, does this bring me joy? Do I like this? Does it deserve to stay here? Or could somebody else get way more out of it than me? And I just went through all that shit. And it's
Or
like
can I get more money than joy? Yes.
well, yeah, I mean,
Money
money is
is
cool.
joy.
I have to have money to survive because fucking the government just can't stop raping me with taxes and shit. Don't ever be self-employed, man. They fucking punish you so hard. Oh my god. They hate self-employed people because it takes away from their buddies and their corporations.
Yeah, they do. I got a buddy who was an owner operator with his own authority, and he had to park his truck and shut down his trucking company. He was sole proprietor.
Yep.
He
Yeah,
had
I
to
mean,
do- because
well,
there was
especially with
fucking
DOT,
money in it, and he was
those guys,
paying. What was he paying? He was paying like $60,000 a quarter in taxes.
Yep.
Jesus.
I might be exaggerating a little bit, but I know it was.
It was
I know
probably
it was more than.
6,000.
I know it was more than
yeah.
I make in a year. What he was paying in taxes.
I pay in taxes what somebody makes in a year, like a teacher makes. That's what I pay in taxes, which is fucked up.
Yeah, and
Someone's got to pay for the teachers.
I don't.
Yeah,
he's not wrong.
Someone has to pay for people to indoctrinate our children instead of teaching them what they fucking need to know to operate.
Yeah, it's very apparent. Like, have you ever seen people who type online?
Yeah, it's because the blue hairs also teach because they have all that free time not teaching to, get into Twitter spats.
No, I'm just saying, like, have you seen people on like the absolute incapability of grammar and proper spelling and punctuation? I mean,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
I mean, like,
it drives me up the fucking wall.
Oh my god, it's like, it signifies such a huge fucking problem. Like, if you look at like my grandparents, they were the greatest generation, which we can debate that later. But no, my grandma was born in the 20s, and so was her brother. And man, most people that age, they write very eloquently. They write complete sentences. They spell things correctly. They didn't have spell check, and they're very good at writing, even if they're not super smart. They're because they were taught in school how to do that. And it's very easy to read their stuff and understand what they're saying. They use nice words, and it flows, and it's grammatically correct. It's just so easy to read.
That's eloquent.
Nowadays,
flows, yeah.
It's like, are we trying to fuck over the language that's, we've been speaking for a long time? And I mean, it's just changing to some dumb. I mean, it's like idiocracy, basically.
It's the only mockumentary that's becoming a documentary.
Dude, first time I saw that, I'm like, that's right where we're fucking headed.
It's funny. I remember reading something that was like exactly what you said, right? Like older generations talking very eloquently. It was like letter from war, like one from like World War I. It was just like, my dearest Janine, blah, blah, blah. And now it's like, my dearest LaQuisha, it is hot as balls in the desert. I want to be home. That was it. I'm like, oh God, this is the dumbing of all the generations.
No crap, no cap, straight busing.
For fuck's sake, dude. That's it. We're sending you to the gulag, straight to the execution line.
Straight to jail. Right to jail.
Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
Fucking
Fucking retards wouldn't even know what that means anymore.
Yeah, Monopoly. Fucking awesome game.
Great way to ruin friendships and families.
Oh yeah, I've been in some really bad games. Like basically, me and an old friend used to play with other friends, right? And we would play against each other, quote unquote. It would always just end up being us two, and we'd just be like, the game's over. Because we're gonna sit here all fucking day and all night, and they're all gonna be bored. But we would knock everybody off the fucking game immediately. That was our goal. We were assholes. And people like really got upset with that. They're like, I'm never playing a fucking game with you again. And then Risk is another one that's really bad. Risk is awful.
Risk is what we played when we were on QRF in 2006. when I was on my first deployment, because we'd spend most of our day sitting around doing nothing. We'd do like 1, maybe 2 patrols a day outside the wire, and the rest of the day we're just sitting around with our thumbs up our ass. Somebody got a board game of Risk, and we had fucking epic battles. Just
It's
like
fucked up,
we would
though.
play one game of Risk that would last like 3 days.
Yep.
Whenever we leave, we would take a picture of the board. That way we had it. Yeah, it was fucking amazing.
Yeah, when we got to Iraq in 2009, we were like sequestered for 2 weeks because of where we were at, and with the lower enlisted could not go anywhere without a badge or whatever, and then we couldn't get food. We had to send one guy with an escort to get all of our food, and then from the chow hall and bring it back. Anyway, so we were stuck in our rooms, and people were getting restless and shit. And Dan and I had brought up. I found a Risk game in Kuwait in the tent, so I grabbed that because I'm like, hey, he brought all of his D&D books, like his Dungeon Master, his Monster Guide, and everything, and just the general manual, and his dice. So we had a shitload of dice. So we get up there and we start, me, him, and the other roommate we had, Woody. We started playing D&D, and then somebody, yeah, exactly, there you go. And so we started playing, and people would pop into our room. They'd be like, "What are you guys doing?" We're like, "Playing D&D." They're like, "Ha, fucking nerds." And then like 20 minutes later, they'd come back with a notebook. They're like, "Hey, can I jump in?"
Well, it's one of those things, right? Like it's the respect. Like you fucking rip on each other, but then you're like, all right, I want in. Like this is such a fucking nerdy thing, right?
Do you remember the rooms?
We got nothing else to do, and it looks fun.
Jake, you remember the rooms we had and how small they were?
Yeah.
We had 14 fucking people in that room in that campaign at one time. All ranks.
Yeah, you were telling me about that a few weeks ago on Friday night.
Yeah, it was fucking awesome because like our platoon sergeant came in, did the same thing. What are you guys doing? I fucking nerds. And then he comes in, and yeah, it was just. I mean, that campaign lasted for almost 2 weeks straight.
Didn't you have Ock as your DM?
Yeah, at one point because Dan had to take a break because he was getting burned out, and he's like, I don't know, like what I'm doing anymore.
Wait,
like I'm
Dan from high school.
You know the Dan I'm talking about. Yep. So
got it.
and so he's like, I need to take a break, and Ock's like, hey, I'll take over for you. And so he just jumped in.
Ock was the fucking king of the nerds.
Dude, his room was next to mine, and we had like that one panel of sheetrock between the rooms.
Yep.
When he wasn't working, he was playing WoW. And that motherfucker was very into it. I mean, very, very. So
that doesn't surprise me,
dude. I would sit there because my bed was right against the wall, right? And I'd be like just laying down after like a 20-hour day, and I'm like, I got to be up in 3 fucking hours and then get back to it. And he's sitting there. I just hear, God damn motherfucking cunt, son of a bitch, cocksucking faggot, or whatever the fuck, whatever. And he'd be screaming, and he'd hit the fucking desk. I'd hear him throw his headset, and I'd hear his door slam open, and he stomps outside and goes and rips like 3 heaters in a row, and then comes back in, and then I hear him sit down, and then I'm like barely asleep again. And then he does the same shit, just screaming. And then he was playing with he was playing with somebody else in a room that was kind of down the hallway a little bit. And one day I heard him fucking throw his headset, hit the wall because it made me jump. I'm like, what the fuck? He runs out of the room. I can hear him, slam the door open, and then he runs down to this room. I can hear him step. He goes, what the fuck are you doing, you fucking retard? What the fuck is this? I told you to do this. You just got us fucking killed, you fucking idiot. And he's just screaming at. I don't even know who he was screaming at. He's like, I'm sorry. He's like, God, I'm not fucking rolling with you anymore, you fucking clown. Comes back in. I'm just like, and that was like a regular occurrence, the whole deployment. It's just like, dude, it's a game, man. Like, it's a fucking game.
I'm glad I had a chew, and I'm glad I had an outside wall.
Yeah, it was.
But then again, on the other side of the wall, Dahlquist was on the other side of the room, but on the other side of the wall from Dahlquist was John Handy and Featherly.
Fun.
So, and they had their room set up like Like Dahlquist and I had our wall lockers in the middle of the room, separating it, so he had his half and I had my half.
Yep.
And Neri did the 2-touch.
Yes.
And I'm fucking glad because Dahlquist was a fucking slob.
Yeah, he's an idiot.
And like Gerald and John, they had their beds up against the same exterior outside walls, but their foot lockers or their wall lockers were at the foot of their bed, and the entire space in between their beds was wide open. It's like, and they lived like that for a year. It's like, I'm sorry, I need a space that is mine.
Yeah, it's
But
fucking weird.
But every time Stobe came into our chew, Stobe or Penny or basically anybody came into the fucking chew, they're like, why does it fucking stink in here? And I point over at Dahlquist's bed and I'm like, you see that bed sheet? That bed sheet that's wrinkled up and it's in a pile in the middle of his mattress is the same bed sheet that he bought when we first got here in fucking March.
I'm sure
And
could
it has
stand up
not
by
left that
itself.
and it has not left that fucking bed since March. It's now October.
We had a problem with our room stinking, and I didn't understand why the whole fucking time, right? Because we had 3 of us in that tiny ass dorm room, right? It was like basically a third of a chew.
Yeah.
And we had 3 of us, 3 wall lockers, a table, and then I put my fucking because as soon they couldn't get in the day we got there, the key didn't work. And so I grabbed the key. I'm like, I'll get this. And so I was fucking with it, and I finally got it to open. And as soon as I went in, I'm like, okay, there's 2 bunks stacked, and then there's 1 single bed. I threw my shit on the single bed. I said, that's my bed for the deployment. And I'm like, you guys can hash out who gets top and bottom bunk. That's my fucking bed. And so, okay. And so anyway, we had our fucking, then we got our foot lockers, right? Those big black fucking boxes, those huge ones. And it's like, we had 0 space, no fucking space at all. So like, what the hell?
Mine was actually outside the chew most of the deployment.
Yeah, we couldn't do that. Like we couldn't do that. And so I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna get ingenuitive, right? Plus our rucksacks and all that shit. So I acquired 4 cinder blocks and I just threw my bed up on those and they fucking fit perfect underneath there. And so did our rucks and everything. So we had a little bit of room. We had maybe about, I don't know, 15 square feet in the middle of our beds and shit to like move around. Anyway, our room constantly reeked like shit. And we cleaned it regularly. It was like I would fucking do the floors. Everything was spotless. They'd come in. They'd be like, your room fucking reeks. You need to clean it. I was like, I just did. They're like, you didn't fucking do it right then. Okay. So I'm cleaning and cleaning and cleaning. Well, because we rarely access those foot lockers, those totes, I never went under my bed until we were moving out, until we were getting ready to pack our shit up and leave. And what I found under there was so fucking disturbing and disgusting. I hated those 2 cocksuckers for a long time. They had been putting their dirty, stinky, disgusting socks underneath my fucking bed behind those totes. And there was a pile about, I don't know, this big of brown socks under my goddamn bed. And I just looked at it and I went, because they were always bitching. They're like, we don't have any socks. We need socks. I'm like, well, fucking have your family send you some. So they constantly were bitching about not having socks. So I find this big pile of socks and I'm like, who in the fuck did this? And they were both like, well, it was mostly him, Wood, but I did it too. And I'm like, you guys need to fucking leave right now before I murder both of you. I'm done.
You had to room with Wood?
Yeah.
Oh my
God. What was their first name? It wasn't Datewood from
Brian.
No. You don't know. Yeah, it's Brian.
Okay.
But you don't know him.
Small world.
Have you seen his current profile pic on Facebook? He looks like he's pushing 50 years old. I'm not fucking kidding.
Oh, damn.
That guy is like, no, he's not taking care of himself. He is not taking care of himself at all.
Here, Chris, I'm going to send you this on Discord.
Oh, yeah.
This
send
guy's
it on Discord because I don't want to see it.
2 years older than me.
Put him a year older than me.
Yeah, he's like not that old. Oh my god, I hadn't even noticed that. Like he kept sending me a friend request, but it was his old profile picture. I didn't want to talk to him for years, and finally,
Yeah.
like this year, I'm just like, whatever, fuck it. I
And
did
now
not
you don't
notice
want
that.
it, and now you don't want to see it anymore.
It's really bad. Oof.
Yeah. He looks like he's in his 50s.
Holy shit.
He's
What
2
the
years older than me.
Fuck.
Good
That's-
God. And he thinks that's gonna
You darn fucking kids! I'm trying to fucking grill out here at this rest area. You fucking kids are making so much goddamn noise. You fucking kids fucking
Dude,
get back
Dan
in your
almost-
goddamn hippie mobile car. Get out of here while I'm cooking my fucking brats at this
Are you
fucking
done?
rest area.
Are you done?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
now
thank
I
you.
am.
Dude, Dan almost killed him when we were there. Like I'm not saying that hyperbolically. He almost shot him. Because
Accidentally or on purpose?
oh no. I took some ammo away from Dan. Because I didn't want him to go to Leavenworth. And so we were because at one point Brian had he got a cushy assignment and he was working maybe 4 or 5 hours a day during the day, and then he got the rest of the day to fuck off. Dan and I were working different things, but like we were still working relatively the same time, like an hour or two apart, and we were working 18-19 hour days minimum. And so we'd come back, do PT, and then have to go to sleep for 3 hours, wake up, rinse and repeat 6 days a week. Fucking sucked. And so one morning we actually had, like, we were up for almost a little over a day straight because some shit went down and we had to stay late and it was just fucking stupid and whatever. So we had just gotten back, Brian, because it's the morning time. We got off shift at like 2 a.m. and it's like 7 or 8 a.m. And so Brian goes to his little cushy assignment. And we had just laid down, like in all of our shit. We didn't even fucking strip down to our PTs or anything. We just laid down and were passed out. We weren't even asleep for like 45 minutes to an hour. Brian comes storming into the fucking room and decides he's going to rearrange the entire room this morning right now.
Oh no.
And he's got help doing it. And we just went, okay. And so we went and sat out in the hallway while all the shit was getting shifted around because he wanted his own space because he was sick of being on the top bunk, right? So he wanted his own space. So he decides to move his bed over into this other place where he had his little gaming table and shit. Anyway, so we're sitting there. I'm looking at my fucking watch and I'm like, we're not going to get any fucking sleep. We're fucked. Lo and behold, we didn't. And we're sitting out there. And all of a sudden, Dan's like, I'm going to kill him. He said it like that calmly. He's like, I'm going to kill him. And I'm like, yeah, I want to kill him too. He goes, no, dude, I'm going to fucking kill him. And I'm like,
oh,
okay.
Seriousness.
And he's like, I don't know when I'm going to do it, but I know how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to fucking kill him. He doesn't deserve to live. He just forfeited that right. And I'm like, uh-oh. So anyway, that whole thing gets done. And
your breathing privileges have hereby been revoked.
Right. So that whole shit show gets done. Of course, we didn't get any sleep. We got 45 minutes of sleep for 36 hours, which is great. So we're walking in. Dan's like, I gotta go do something. And I'm like, no, come here. So I grabbed his ammo off of him. I said, give me all that shit. Do you have any more on you? He goes, nope. I said, okay. So I took all of his ammo from him. I said, go back to the room and go to sleep. Don't fucking talk to him. So I had to talk to the platoon sergeant who was helping him, and I yelled at him and I said, what the fuck was that? Anyway, long story short, he survived. Nobody went to Leavenworth, and but there was a lot of hatred after that. That changed the entire thing. Like it was.
Yet he kept sticking his socks down under your bunk,
which I didn't know until the end. Yeah, that was the final fucking straw. I was like, both you guys just fucking suck. I hate you. I hate the world. I hate this. Anyway, it's fun stuff living with fucking idiots.
Yeah. I had to live with Dahlquist.
Yeah, he's the prime example of an idiot.
Dahlquist had 2 laundry bags. He had the laundry bag for his clean laundry, and he had the laundry bag for his dirty laundry. And as he pulled stuff out of the clean laundry bag to wear it, it went into the dirty laundry bag and not into the wall locker. I don't know what he used his wall locker for. Because he certainly didn't put his clothes in it.
That's fucking gross.
Dahlquist was fucking gross that whole deployment. And then he hurt his ankle. He hurt his ankle on our last record PT test. Well, it wasn't. It was the official record PT test for the company. He hurt his ankle, so he couldn't take any more PT tests because he got a line of duty injury out of it. So he couldn't. He got a no PT profile.
Oh,
so
I'm sure. Oh, I'm sure he milked the shit out of that when he got back.
Fuck yeah, he did.
I got wounded in Iraq. I got an LOD. I'm disabled.
It was after he got that fucking. He rolled his fucking ankle on that PT test that I got my Article 15. It was like a month after that.
Well, you know you're not a real infantryman unless you've got an Article 15.
Well, I guess I'm a real infantryman then. Give me my fucking CIB.
Yeah. No, it's Chris, do you have any Article 15s?
Fuck no, I'm in the Air Force. I can't get promoted any higher because I don't have one or a DUI or an ex-wife. So.
Yeah.
Or a credit score of 520.
Jesus. Yeah.
That's pretty fucking high, dude.
I mean, maybe for the Marines, but not for like actual society.
Do you have a V6 Mustang leased at 36% interest?
Yeah. No, I'm not an E3. I have the Ford Raptor. Thank you very much. Leased at 2% APR.
I was gonna say 40.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, you guys both know I got the Article 15 2 days into fucking reception at basic. So I was like, solid. All I have to do is graduate this bitch and I'm a real infantryman, right? So it was like, I think I held the company record of the fastest Article 15 ever in somebody's career. Because I mean 2 days into reception, that's pretty that's cooking with gas.
I don't think I've heard this story.
Upper middle management written all over it. That's a person that knows what they want. He's a go-getter.
Yeah, I don't think I've heard this story. How did you get an Article 15 at fucking reception?
I'm pretty sure I told you this.
I don't think I've heard this.
Oh,
I don't know if I've heard this one either. I might have. But
I never knew you had an Article 15.
Oh, fuck.
Let alone at reception.
Oh, yeah. It was a company grade. I thought it was going to be bad, but it wasn't. So, okay. Maps, right? The night before you go. So, long story short, I was supposed to go down with 2 guys that were in our unit that I was graduating high school with. I was supposed to go down with Dan and another guy in our grade, Z. Remember him?
Oh, yeah, Zilsdorf.
Yeah. So, I was supposed to go down in July. And I didn't make weight by like 3 pounds, and they fucking held me back for that. I was like, God damn it. So I go back, and then we get a waiver for that because it's 3 fucking pounds, and I lost like 7 pounds by the time I actually went. So I go down to basic alone in August. Well, I was so fucking nervous at maps. I slept for maybe 45 minutes to an hour and just kept waking up and just couldn't sleep.
That's normal.
Yeah, exactly. So we get down to Benning, all that shit, get to the airport. Again, not sleeping, just fucking nervous because I'm like, God, shit, now I'm going to be down here alone. It's not going to be, it's hot. And so we get to Benning, go through Johnston Hall and on the benches, get our camelbacks, and I'm really fucking tired. And so we get there at what, like 2 in the morning, 1 or 2 in the morning, and we're just going through the motions and blah, blah, blah. You know, you were there, you know how that goes. And the next day the sun comes up and I'm starting to like not be like normal. I can feel it. I'm just like, things aren't making sense. I'm starting to be confused and like shit's not going well. They also had issued us our camelbacks, but they never said that we could fill them up and drink out of them. So I was just getting sips from the drinking fountain every time we passed one. So that's another factor. I was very fucking dehydrated. And so we're sitting there, we get our heads shaved and everything, blah, blah, blah. And we go down to, what the fuck? It's kind of a blur. I mean, that was a long time ago, but like, it was still a blur at the time. So basically, it was our, day 2. So we got there, well, day 1, I don't know. I think I made it through that first full day.
It all blurs together.
Well, because I remember we were sitting, after we went to Johnston Hall, we were sitting in this classroom thing on the floor for fucking an eternity. And then, anyway, so it's like the first day or the second day. we're marching. It's the middle of the day. And I'm just like not with it at all because I hadn't slept in probably about 80 hours at this point and dehydrated as fuck. And it's hot. It's August 5th or 6th. And we're marching. I remember we're marching with our shit on back to our company thing, the company barracks and shit. And all of a sudden I couldn't see anything. I could hear everything and I knew what was going on and I was marching, but I couldn't see anything. Like everything was complete. I was blind. I could not see a fucking thing. So we marched back to these barracks and we're standing in this formation with our duffel bag and shit. And I can't see a fucking thing. So we put our duffel bags down. They end up smoking the shit out of the people that were just about to head down range. And I remember I'm like, I got to fucking sleep because I can't see anything. I don't know what's going on. It was like fucking weird. I was like tripping. It was just whatever. And so I had this wise idea that I was just going to go find a bed and slink away and get some sleep. Nobody would notice. So I had to at that point.
Also, you're probably processing with 10% of an actual brain because of how tired you are.
It was the weirdest shit I've ever experienced. But so I grabbed this bag, which I thought was mine. This guy fucking hits me. He goes, "It's my fucking bag, dipshit." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sorry." So I grabbed the bag and I remember I slink out. It's all by like feel. I can't see a fucking thing, right? And so I go and I grab this door and I go into the barracks and it's like a bunch of yelling and shit going on. There's shit going on. So that's why I was able to go away. And I closed the door and there's nobody in the barracks. I threw my duffel bag on the bed as a pillow. And I remember I just fucking passed out before my head hit the pillow. Then this is where it gets interesting. I had this fucking weird dream. I was tripping goddamn balls. Don't know how long I was out. It was probably like an hour or an hour and a half. Tripping balls. I was having this dream that, like, at the end of Gladiator when he's like, his hands going through the fucking barley or the wheat or whatever, and then he reaches out to the door. Well, in my brain at that point, I remember I said, I need to get the fuck out of here because I'm going to get guys killed if I keep this going. I need to get out of the army because I'm going to get guys killed because I black out if I'm tired, right? And that was what my brain was telling my body. And I remember this trippy fucking thing of like that scene, but there was like a fire alarm with fucking vines and shit around it, like instead of the door. And my hand went like this and all of a sudden the dream ended. And I could hear like really quiet. And I don't know how long I was standing there, but I came to because a drill sergeant was right in my fucking ear screaming at the top of his lungs. And it sounded like he was just going, "What the fuck are you doing, Private? You dumb fucker. What the hell is your fucking problem? What the fuck? You stupid cocksucking what the fuck? You get the fuck out of hand off that thing." And so I came to and my hand was on the fire alarm pulled and the lights were going off. And all of a sudden it was like, in a movie where the sound starts coming back after tinnitus. It was like that. And all of a sudden the yelling starts and I'm like, whoa. And I looked at him, I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like grabbing me and she goes, "Get the fuck out here." And so he sits me down outside and shit. And he sits me down on the side of the building in front of everybody that has to now go out for accountability. And all the guys I was with had just gotten to go to sleep for the first time since we got there. And they were in their bunks for like 15 minutes. And then I fucking pulled the fire alarm.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So I was awake at that point. I'm just sitting there and everybody's looking at me. "You stupid fat fuck, you fucking," all the kids and everybody. And then the fire department comes and all that shit. And they're like, "I want to fucking kill you when you sleep, you fucking faggot. You're not gonna be able to sleep because I'm gonna fucking murder you." And I'm like, okay, I'm dead. And so then that night they put me on suicide watch because they thought I was suicidal because I was all like tripping and shit. But I was starting to come to a little bit.
No,
so they put me in the fucking duty drill sergeant's office the whole night. And I'm on a cot wearing an orange crazy vest, getting absolutely no sleep again because the lights are all on. There's people walking in and out constantly. It stinks. It's hot. It's disgusting. And then the next day, like I was walking around with the crazy vest on for the first few days. And I explained to them, I'm like, "I'm not suicidal. I'm okay now. I was tripping. I was super tired. I don't know what the hell happened. I fucking whatever." No, they don't give a shit though. They don't. They did not care. So anyway, we get through reception. I got integrated back in. Not a big deal. And then everything was okay. And then I got my Arco 15, and I was the only one that knew how to report to an officer before we actually got to our unit, which was interesting because they told me how to do that. I'd go in and then he goes, "Yeah, I'm giving you an Arco 15. I'm deducting half your first fucking paycheck. and but I'm not busting you down. That was an E3, and I was like, all right, I appreciate that. And then blah 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 blah. And then so I gave the salute, and then right before I pivoted, he goes, "I'm private." I was like, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Keep your fucking hands off my fire alarms." He goes, "Get the fuck out." And so yeah, like I got the Article 15, and I got $300 for my first paycheck in the Army, out of a possible like 800 or whatever.
Ooh,
or 900
living
or
like
something.
the fucking Rockefellers.
Oh yeah, but hey, here's the thing: he didn't bust me. That's what I was concerned about, because I'm like, that would be longer term losing
Yeah.
money. I'm like, I'll take the fucking half the first paycheck. Who gives a shit? But like, yeah, he's like, okay, then get the fuck. And so, get to our unit, right? The very first fucking day, after the shark attack and all that shit, we're up in the bay, and we're sitting on the line, right? And they're doing their introductions and shit. I'm Drill Sergeant so and so, and then we went around and introduced ourselves and all that shit. And then they're walking around asking questions, and one of the questions was, "Does anybody in here have an Article 15 yet?" And all the fucking swinging dicks go, "Look at me." And he goes, "Get the fuck up at parade rest." I jump up. He's like, "How the fuck do you have an Article 15 already?" I was fucking joking. I'm like, "I pulled the fire alarm," and he goes, "Oh, that was you." Oh. Day 0 of fucking like actual basic training. Day 0, I'm on the fucking radar immediately.
And you never want that. Ever.
Oh, dude. It was, that first week was absolutely fucked. I mean, completely fucked. I mean, I'll talk about that later at some point, but
I think I made it to week 4 before the drill sergeants knew who I was.
Same. Yeah, they didn't know who the fuck I was.
Really wish that would have been the case, because that followed me for that first week, because he's like, okay, yeah, you like to pull fire alarms. You're fucked. I'm keeping my eye on you. Extra special, extra close. Get the fuck down.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. And that was like day 0. And I'm just like, this is going to be a long few months. And oh God. But luckily I got on the radar early and then got off. And then it was like fine the rest of the cycle. So it was not bad. But my God, that first week, I'm just like,
okay, here's a question. How many times were you personally responsible for your platoon getting smoked at basic?
0.
Pussy.
Also Air Force. Just get carpal tunnel from having to fucking do all those reports.
Oh, once, because the monkey bars, I could not fucking do those things. I couldn't get like the whole motion thing going.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes,
how did that get the whole platoon smoked?
Well, here's the thing: is I kept falling off, and they're like, "Okay, everybody get in the fucking front line and rest, so this fat fuck can negotiate the obstacle." And I'm just like, "Oh no!" So they were doing, and I kept falling, and this one kid goes, "Just pretend you're riding a fucking bike," and then he goes, "Flutter kicks, you shut the fuck up, penis." And then I'm like, "Well, okay, I guess I'll try," because I saw the other guys like flailing, and I thought they were flailing, so I just started pedaling like that. I fell off once. I'm like, God damn it! By this time, all of the fucking pads on my no ripped off. It was flesh. They were bleeding, and they were completely ripped off. And I'm just like there's blood running down my fucking hand. It makes it slippery to fucking hold on to the monkey bars. So like, Jesus Christ! And they're doing push-ups and they're getting smoked. Like, front back go drills immediately. Front.
It also didn't help that the monkey bars there rolled.
I know.
Oh,
that's
they
the
were.
thing.
They weren't
they
secured.
Rolled. No, they moved. And so they're doing, they go from push-ups to front back go drills in the sand. And I'm just like, oh God. And finally everybody's like, just fucking do it. They're screaming. Even the drill sergeant's like, just fucking do it, screaming. I just went, ah! And I just bicycled across. I got to the other side. They're like, now get your fat ass back here. And I'm like, ah! And I just did it. Just like adrenaline. And they're like, everybody recover. They're like, see, you can fucking do it. You're just too fucking lazy. Okay. And then I go like this. And they're like, bandage your fucking hands. And I'm like, okay, Jesus Christ. So just blood fucking everywhere. And yeah, that was the only time. That was the only time.
They were not allowed to swear at us.
They were not allowed to swear at you?
No, because I went in right when
bunch of pussies.
Más o menos. But more or less that like the Lackland sex abuse bullshit came out like a year before I went there. So like the pendulum swing for like overreaction on what to be doing was like in full force.
What year did you go through basic?
16, and like the sex abuse stuff was happening, I think, between like 12 and 14, and then like had started to come out.
That was way after my brother went through then.
Yeah, I joined when I was 26. I didn't join like Mike like right out of high school. I mean, knowing now, I probably should have. Would have given me a break.
Yeah, I was responsible for getting my platoon smoked a grand total of 6 times, and that was actually a low number. 6 times in 14 weeks.
Yeah, we got to the point where like
it's not a good feeling.
No. Nope,
it's
it's
just
not.
completely different military right now. Because so like ours were looking for like when we're getting towards like the end towards graduation, they would look for any excuse to give us base lib because then they didn't have to be there. So like we could get up to 4 hours of base lib on like the weekends, right? So we could go to like the bowling alley. That was basically it. We could just go to the bowling alley. But like then they didn't have to be on base for any of it. So
Jesus.
So I won a 5K because it was the turkey trot. And they're like, all right, 4 hours base lib. I'm like, oh, this is amazing.
Jesus.
We got a 36-hour pass in between basic and AIT.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
No, we got busted.
That was it.
Biloxi, Mississippi. Fucking San Antonio. Oh, disgusting.
And then we got back from our 36-hour pass, went right back to the same fucking company area, and they're like, well, congratulations, you completed basic training. Welcome to AIT. Now get out to the parade field or get out to the PT field.
Oh, that's
what they did to us. Well, not the PT field. They were like, we all get back and
PT 0400.
No, we were in our nighttime formation after we did the accountability and everything.
Oh yeah, yep.
And they said the same thing. They're like, congratulations, you completed basic training. Welcome. And they're like, all right, attention, half right face, the overhead arm clap. And we get 1, 2, 3, 500 fucking reps of that shit in a row. And we were just dying at the end. And the guys that were still drunk were like puking.
Uh-huh.
And
that's why they did it.
Yep, I know that's why they did it. I was fine because I didn't drink at that point. But like, we did that. We get done, our arms are just fucked. And so we get done, and they go, "All right, fucking participant touch a move, half left face. Welcome to AIT, bitches. Get the fuck upstairs." Nothing changed. It was like, God damn it. Like, oh man. But I mean, it got more technical at that point. Like in AIT, they would teach us more in-depth shit.
Oh, and yeah. Like, AIT was fucking fun.
Yeah, because you're already used to getting screamed at and the stress and everything at that point.
But now they're not screaming at you anymore.
Yeah, I don't understand that.
Like when we went to I went through AI basic in early 05, like February to May of 05. And that was when they were just starting to integrate the lessons learned from Iraq and Afghanistan into basic training.
Yep.
Like it was right at the beginning of the surge and all of that stuff. And they had just started doing convoy live fire training in basic.
That was interesting.
We were one of the first units to go through it. Like they didn't even know how to fucking do it.
Right. It's dangerous as fuck too.
Yeah, they didn't even know how to fucking do it. They were trying to figure out, okay, well, how do we give these privates who are going to be sitting in the back of 5-ton shooting over the rails, how do we give them live ammo and make sure that they're not going to shoot somebody?
Right.
And we just, it was one of those things. But one of the other things that we were just starting to do in basic training, basic and AIT, was mount.
Yes, AIT was very mount heavy. Very mount heavy.
It was fucking awesome though. But we went to our first mount range, and the drill sergeants are, they're telling us what to do and this and that, and they're like, they're looking at a bunch of just blank stares in return when they're walking us through the initial crawl phase.
Yeah.
And they're like, does anybody have any questions? I'm seeing a lot of blank stares, and I raised my hand. I'm like, drill sergeant, can you guys show us what it's supposed to look like at full speed so we know what we're supposed to be aiming for?
Yeah.
And so
fair.
and so they borrowed 4 rifles, the drill sergeants and our platoon. We had an E6 training NCO in our platoon who had a sapper tab. Fucking awesome guy. But we had the 3 drill sergeants plus him, so they stacked up and they actually showed us what it was supposed to look like.
Yep.
So once they actually showed us what we were supposed to be learning, then all of a sudden the pieces started falling into place, and we actually started having a shit ton of fun on that range.
Yeah, it's really tough. Like if mount is something that you have to do. You can't learn about it. You
have to see it done before you know what you're going to be doing.
Because what you see in movies is so fucking far from what it actually is. It's so well, movies at that time, I guess, because there's been a couple since that show kind of what it's like. It's really fucking fast, very, very, very meticulous, and very fluid. If you do it right, it's very fluid and it's very, very fast.
Yeah, it's amazing when you actually start getting into a rhythm with the same group of guys, with the same fire team, the same squad.
You don't really have to talk much. Yeah.
No, you don't. You don't have to talk at all.
Right. It's just
you just go.
Yep.
It's so much fun, and it makes the training day go by so fucking fast.
Like mount was fucking great. That I broke my fucking tailbone doing that. It was so stupid. Like
you're not supposed to be sitting on your ass.
Right. No,
that's
now
an Air Force job.
I know why the IOTVs had that ass flap on the back, but so I was the saw gunner, and so I was the door kicker for all that shit. And I was a fucking idiot because they didn't show us how to kick in a door. They just said kick the fucking door in, and they had those like really like the big thick fucking pieces of wood that you had to break through to like simulate it. I was a dumbass and I went face first. And I tried to kick it like Spartan kick it. And I just went, they're like, all right, kick it. And I'm like, and I Spartan kicked this thing and I bounced straight the fuck off the door, right, all my weight right on the concrete on my ass, right on my tailbone. I felt that crunch through my entire fucking spine up through my head. Ooh. I was like, fuck. And then so the third guy gets out and he turns around and he mule kicks it and it fucking opens on the first hit. And the drill sergeant, he goes, you're a fucking idiot. I'm like, you didn't show me how to do it. He's like, you don't have common sense, do you? I'm like, well, I've seen it in movies. He goes, that's your fucking problem. I'm like, fair enough. I get it. He's like, yeah, you never kick a door like they do in the movies. That's not how it fucking works. He's like, because then if you do mule kick it and you face plant, you at least see it coming.
Yeah.
And you can kind of adjust and then fall on your arm. And you can brace yourself with your hands. You're not falling backwards. And he's just like, you just got to fucking. So then, from then on out, I just always turned around and kicked it. And then he's like, also, then you're in a conveniently good spot to face out and pull fucking security while the rest of the team goes in. And then you can fucking sit in the doorway like you're supposed to. I'm like, oh, light bulb moment.
Yeah, I was a saw gunner for my squad from, when was it? 2000. Early 2007, I think, is when they reorged after I got back.
Yeah.
Until basically right up until we deployed. Like they made me a grenadier on paper. Literally when we were at Blanding.
Oh,
like I went to Blanding with a saw, and I was on paper to be a grenadier for the deployment. So
yeah, then they reorganized it to where all the fucking E5s, all the team leaders had the M203. I'm like, what fucking sense is that? Well, they can shoot flares. I'm like, or they could tell their grenadier to shoot up a fucking flare like it's always worked. What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Some officer needed a promotion and needed a bullet for it to get promoted.
Yeah.
That seems...
But yeah, when I think it was, I don't remember if it was 2007 or 2008 at annual training when we were doing the mount range where we had to fucking grappling hook and scale into the upper window.
That was 08 because I was in basic at that point, and then because when I got to the unit, everybody was bitching about that.
Yeah, it was fucking retarded. I think it was something Zimmy came up with.
It was, yeah.
And Zimmy couldn't fucking do it.
Yeah, he's too fucking fat and out of shape. And
I did it.
Yeah. Well, Ock did.
I was fat and out of shape, and I still did it.
Ock did.
Granted, I think I kicked somebody in the face while I was climbing up the wall.
Your face shouldn't have been there. See?
Well,
yeah.
But
I'm glad I missed that one because I was suffering down at Benning, but yeah.
That particular mount range, I'm the saw gunner for my team, for Stobe's team. And we're going through, and Mockler's fucking watching. And Mockler, he didn't get his E7 until he reclassed to infantry.
Yeah, fucking dipshit.
Because in 06, he was a fucking E6, and he was in charge of the Chow Hall at Navistar.
Yeah, that guy is a turd.
Yeah. But he yells at me as I'm going through the fucking door with the saw. He's like, the saw is not you don't do room clearing with a saw.
Bullshit.
I looked at him I'm like, the saw is the highest casualty producing weapon in this terrain. An M203 is useless in this terrain.
Right. Yeah.
I am more useful than an M203 in this terrain.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, there's saws are actually you can definitely clear a room with a saw because we did that. Like, yeah, when I was in basic, we fucking they had the Jules sitting in there, and our first sergeant wanted to play, so he was sitting in a room. And we went into the first room, cleared that, nothing, and then I ended up being, for whatever reason, on like the second or third room, I ended up being the first guy in the stack. So I went into the path of least resistance, and I went like this. I went a little bit to the left, and the first sergeant's standing there pointing an M4 at me, point blank. So I just fucking went. I just laid on the thing, and they said, "Don't stop shooting until the target's down."
Yep.
So I'm sitting there with this fucking saw, point blank, mind you. I mean, we're this far away, and I'm just sitting there, fucking going. I burned his fucking rank patch. It melted, and I'm sitting there just going. And all of a sudden, as I'm like, this drum's almost out, and I'm just fucking going. And all of a sudden, he just goes, and takes a knee. He goes, "Okay, Private, I'm fucking dead." And I felt bad because after we got done, we were doing our little AAR, and my squad leader was like, "Dude, what the fuck were you thinking? You fucking got him." I'm like, "He didn't go down. They literally just said, don't stop shooting until the target's down."
Yep.
And then he was like, "Yeah, but you fucked up his uniform." I'm like, "Whatever, I'll take the punishment." There was no punishment though. Like they were all. I'm like, "I'll take the fucking punishment if it's gonna be." And no, he was laughing about it. He's like telling all the drills, like, "Look at this fucker." He's all melted. It was just a big black spot. But I thought I was gonna get in trouble, but at that point, I'm like, I'm just doing what you fucking told me to do. Like, I'm so used to getting fucked up at this point, it doesn't matter. Go for it. Smoke me.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't. At that
point, it's just like you give up.
Mockler didn't like it when I threw that in his face. I'm like, this is the highest casualty producing weapon for the terrain.
Yeah, I mean, you want to clear an entire fucking room on your own?
And I was good with the not to toot my own horn, but I was fucking good with the saw. I could 2-round burst with the saw all fucking day.
Yeah, it's easy.
All right, paint me a word picture. How hard actually is that? I'm assuming it's pretty damn hard.
If you know the open bolt trigger, it's easy.
Most people, the best they can hope for is a 3-round burst out of a saw. 2-round burst is really tricky.
Yeah, a saw's got a pretty decent rate of fire too.
Yeah, it's pushing 800 rounds a minute. So
240 is 800, so it's like 9 or something. Let me go check it out. Check it out really quick. Rate of fire of M249. It's higher than an M240.
Memory is telling me it's like 860.
Oh, it's 800. Oh, okay, so what's a 240 then? I thought M240 Bravo. What the fuck? A 240's got a higher rate than a saw?
Mm-hmm. It's a better operating system.
It's the same operating system.
No, it's not.
It's damn near the fucking same.
No, it's not. It does not have a rotating bolt like a saw.
Yeah, well, the whole fucking bolt assembly and everything's so. That's
the
so
M240,
weird.
The M240 has a much less complicated operating system. It is significantly less complicated. It has a tilting bolt instead of a rotating bolt.
A fucking saw sounds like it's shooting so much faster though than a 240.
Higher pitch, lower round, smaller round.
Maybe, yeah, because. Huh, that's interesting.
Yep. I thought my memory was correct around 800 rounds a minute, but yeah, the saw's rate of fire is just so high that somebody who isn't extremely skilled on it has a lot of trouble getting less than 3-round bursts out of it. And you're supposed to fire 6 to 9-round bursts.
5 to 7, they said.
Yeah.
That was the golden rule.
Yeah.
It's like,
Same ballpark. But the reason why it's advantageous to be able to fire 2 and 3 round bursts is because it's using the same caliber as the M4 M16. If you're firing 2 to 3 round bursts, it's a lot harder for enemy forces to differentiate where the automatic weapon is by sound alone.
also, fun fact: did you know that the goddamn muzzle velocity on a 240 Bravo is 2,800?
Yes,
Damn.
it's fucking screaming.
Damn. Okay, what I might be thinking of is because when you throw a mag into a 249, I know the firing rate's a hell of a lot faster than 800.
I don't think it is because the magazine has trouble keeping up with the cyclic rate of the bolt. That's why there's so many magazine problems with the 249.
I never had one with live rounds. With blanks, fuck yeah, but like I've never had a problem with live rounds in a mag. And
Well,
also I think it shoots faster because you don't have to worry. It doesn't have to process the links.
yeah, it doesn't
Um,
have to pull the links in because of the ammo is actually being fed in. But the
Yeah,
problem
so-
with the magazines is that the spring rate on the magazines is not fast enough to keep up with the 249's cyclic rate over long duration fire.
Yeah,
Like
let me
it can keep up for like 3 to 5 rounds, but once you get past a 5 round burst, the magazine starts falling behind.
I literally never had a problem going cyclic with a fucking magazine though. It must have just had good mags. Okay, so it's 850 with a magazine.
We had army mags. There's no such thing as a good army mag.
The ones that I had luckily were nice. They weren't that fucked. Yeah, okay, so it's 850 with the magazine, 800 with a belt. So it is a little bit faster.
Yep, that's because of the spring.
Yep. Cool. God, I miss the 240 so much. God.
I miss the 249.
Well, dude, the 240 is I would literally
249.
that's what I would do with a 240 at the range, is I would fucking I'm lagging bad.
Yeah, you're okay.
Hold on, we'll let it fucking settle. I don't want to stop this upload because I'm almost there. It's 91%. God damn it.
Yeah, let
Almost
it
there.
cook.
Yep. So no, on the 240 range, like I think I told you this story, Jake, but Chris, this is fun. Look, we were back from our deployment and everything. My assistant gunner was Brenholt. We didn't get along on the deployment at all. And then when we get back, we get thrown into weapons, and he's like, or they're like, all right, you're Mike's AG. And we just looked at each other. We're like, we had that like common look of like, are we just going to drop everything and just fucking get along? Like no discussion. And we just nodded at each other. We're like, all right. And that was it. That was fucking awesome. And he was a really good assistant gunner, a really good one. And so we were out at the fucking qual range, and we're during the day, and he doesn't really have to do much, but he's just calling out targets and shit. He's like, all right, this one's up. This one's coming up. Okay. And okay, 500's up. 2 or 3 rounds. Bam. Down. So I do this for like the next 5 or 6 targets. The fucking range safety is of fuzzy right side PFC. Or no, he's an E4, sorry. He's an E4 slick side, didn't deploy. And he goes, you need to use 5 to 7 round bursts. I'm like, yeah, I got it. Don't worry about it. And mind you, I'm hitting the targets in 2 to 3 rounds. I'm hitting them every fucking time, right? 800 pops up, adjust the sight. Or 2. I was doing 2 shots. I was sniping basically. Down. He goes, you need to use 5 to 7 round bursts, private. And I looked at him and I was like, I inhaled, and all of a sudden Brenholt just goes, shut the fuck up! You know what the fuck he's doing, you fucking idiot? He's like, you see the fucking patch? He's been a fucking 240 gunner longer than you've been in the fucking army. Shut the fuck up. Don't call him private again either, you fucking retard. And this kid's like, okay. He's like, he's hitting the fucking targets, is he not? Then shut the fuck up. And I just smiled at him. And then he just goes back and he goes, all right, 700's coming up. Back into it. Just choose this guy's ass. It was fucking hilarious. And this kid just shut up for the rest of the duration. And it was just great. Yeah, Brenholt was fucking awesome as an AG.
You only use 5 to 7 round bursts if you can't hit the fucking target with the first 2.
Or if you're doing suppressing fire and definitely and all that shit, then you use 5 to 7 to keep their fucking heads down. That's all you do. But if I can hit the target in 1 to 3 rounds, I'm going to use less ammo because then I've got more ammo in case I need it, right?
Yeah, the government's all about fraud, waste, and abuse.
And
Fraud, waste,
you
abuse.
also had a little comment in there that probably went unnoticed by most. And it's the reason why I was able to qualify expert on every fucking automatic weapon I ever touched. It's because sight adjustment.
Dude, in Texas before we deployed, I figured that out because I had milsurps my whole life, right?
Yeah.
And I was the only one that figured that out, and I got a perfect fucking score on the qual table, the paper and the fucking thing.
I did the same thing with the same thing with the 249 when I qualled on that in 07.
Yep.
I'm on the fucking qual range, and the targets are popping up, and every single time a new target popped up, I reached up and click, click.
Yep.
And
yeah, because all the other people were. Yeah, they would do the arcing
conduct you into. Yeah.
Yep.
It's
and
like,
then,
no,
so
you got a fucking range. You got
Exactly.
a fucking range calibrated rear aperture sight. Use the fucking thing.
Yep, you're zeroed at 5. That's what the weapon's supposed to be zeroed at. It's good to go. If it pops up at 200 yards, knock it back to 2, fucking squeeze the trigger, and you're going to hit your goddamn target. But after we got done qualifying, everybody's like, how in the fuck did you hit those 800s? I'm like, you want to know a little secret? Like, these are guys that had deployed on the first deployment, mind you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you want to know a little secret? These sights move. And those little numbers on there correlate with the yardage. And they're like, really? So all of a sudden we were just doing fam fire because we drew enough ammo for 72 gunners for the company. And there was like 30 of us. And so they're like, this ammo needs to get burned up by tonight. Yeah. So we just did a bunch of fam fire. We just fun shit like we'd have it.
And you already had the range.
That's what I mean. We had the range for the day. So it's like, well, we'll save enough ammo for the night qual, which was fine. And then, so we just sat there and did fun shit. And all of a sudden, everybody could hit the 8. Everybody. Yeah. And I'm like, see? They're like, I would have never thought about that. I'm like, you've never fucking adjusted sights? That's what they're there for.
No, like, nobody ever fucking did. Like, when you're using your M4 or M16 A2 3 4 or your M4 or your M4 A1 with the fucking carrying handle, and there's that fucking knob on there.
Yeah.
The one that says 6.3 on it, you turn that fucking knob to adjust for the range that you're shooting at.
Yeah, it's very simple. But yeah,
if you turn it down from 3, it actually turns all the way down to 1. And that 1 correlates to 100 meters.
Yeah, very fun stuff. Chris, how many times did you qual?
Dose. Once for basic, and then we had to qualify on M9 before my deployment.
And in both cases, they were like, this is the end the bullet comes out. Don't point it at yourself.
Too many times.
Oh my God. I was talking about with Sophie the other night. We were talking about the clearing barrels at Cropper. Remember those? The ones like right before you go into the front gate. You had the clearing barrels.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was fucked up because eventually we had a rule where people that were not with anybody, there was just single people filtering in that had to go through the clearing barrels, could not do it on their own because we had so many fucking NDs. So we would have to get up. We would have to get up and go over and make sure that their weapon was clear and then go for it. And then they could go proceed. Right. So, oh my God, there's so many fucking times. So this one time is Air Force. I'm pretty sure it was Air Force, like E4 or some shit, holding an A2, right? That's how you know.
Where was this at?
In Iraq.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That makes sense. That tracks.
So this Air Force kid comes up and he grabs his rifle and he's just like standing there, like looking around. So I'm on my way over to help him. And I said, you need help with something? He goes, what are we supposed to do? And I'm like, this is a clearing barrel. He goes, and I'm like, you really don't know?
How often? So like in Army Basic, how often did you guys use a clearing barrel?
Every fucking
Army
time
Basic?
we went back. Yeah, Basic every time you go back into the barracks. Every
so like
single time.
I was like every day, like a few times every day, right?
We didn't
Sometimes.
have clearing barrels in 05.
Well, that changed because that changed. Trust me, it changed because we had a fucking ND with a blank at our clearing barrel. Believe it or not, in Basic.
Wow. We weren't allowed to. We had brass and ammo shakedowns anytime we left the fucking range.
Same, but So we came in from the field one time in basic, and we've been out there for like 3 days and gotten like, an hour of sleep. So we're all pretty fucking tired, but it's muscle memory. Drop the magazine, pull the fucking charging handle back, visually inspect the chamber and the magazine well, make sure there's nothing in there, put it in the clearing barrel, put the selector switch from safe to semi, pull the trigger, charge it, close your fucking dust cover, move on. Yep. It's that simple, right?
It's this
kid had a fucking magazine in, and nobody fucking saw it, not even the drill sergeants, right? So you just hear boom, and you hear fuck, and then the screaming ensued, and then it was just like, oh shit. So then it was just a big show. Anyway, so in Iraq, so to answer your question, Chris, this thing is like during our regular training, like outside of basic, like in your unit, every time you go into an area that's not the field, you need to go to a clearing barrel because of shit that's happened. So many people getting shot and having NDs. So it's second nature to us, but like it should have been second nature to literally everybody on that fucking fob in a combat zone, an active fucking
100%. Agreed. Like,
and so, yeah. So anyway, this kid looks at me, he goes, what am I supposed to do?
He probably hadn't seen it since Beast Week.
And he's got his, so say this is the grip, right? And you're supposed, this is how I hold an AR, right? I've got my thumb instinctively on the selector, and then my trigger fingers on the magazine well, right? He's holding it like this. That's my first red flag.
Oh, that's fuckery.
His finger's not in the trigger well, but he's holding it like this. And I'm like, okay, so this kid doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. So he's like, what do I do? And I'm like, okay. I'm like, when was the last time you handled one of these? He goes, Beast Week, or he said basic. And I'm like,
yeah, Beast.
Oh, I'm like, when did you get issued this? He's like, well, we've had it. We were just told we have to carry it everywhere. I'm like, yeah. I mean, okay. So anyway, we go through the whole process and I show him how to do this. He doesn't know how to charge the fucking thing. He goes, where's the charging handle? Or what is that? I'm like, give me your rifle.
What was this guy assigned to?
I told Sophie that. I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck the Air Force was doing where we were at. We had Air Force and Navy. And I'm like, what are you doing here? And whatever. So I grab the rifle. I show him how to do it. He barely gets it. And then, okay, whatever, go in. I then saw somebody from it was an Army pogue, come up to the clearing barrel like hot shit, grab a fucking magazine and put it in backwards into the rifle. And I'm like, I get up and I'm like yelling and screaming. I'm like, stop! Whatever the fuck you're doing, stop. He goes, what? I'm like, keep your fucking weapon pointed there. And I'm like, good thing you wouldn't have had an ND because your magazine's in fucking backwards. Take the magazine out, dipshit. I'm like, that's the first fucking rule of this. Have you ever done this before? He's an MP. That's what I remember the MP patch. He goes, oh, yeah, I'm an MP. And I'm like, well, you obviously don't know how to load a fucking M16 or an M4 or whatever the fuck you had. So I was like, okay, do you know how to do this? He's like, yeah. So he puts the selector switch from safe to semi. I'm like, stop. Fucking stop.
You got to start from step 0.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. And these are people in combat zones. And we did have one ND that I will never forget. It was a fucking MPE-7.
America's professional army.
Yep. An MP.
Uh-oh. Did he go fuckery for you too?
With his buddy.
You're going to have to restart that story, bud.
You're going to have to restart with MP, whatever.
Oh, that's MPE-7. He was a piece of shit. Yeah. Comes up with one of his little, dick suckers. And just casually takes his M9 out of his fucking holster and is like shooting the shit, racks the thing, boom, right into the fucking clearing barrel. Before I even had a chance to like, whatever, react, just right into the fucking clearing barrel with his M9. I'm like, I said, what are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? He was like, oh, I don't know, private. I'm like, you just had a fucking negligent discharge in the clearing barrel. And then my Methune came out, my NCO. And he's like, who the fuck was that? I'm like, so he took care of him. But,
I like how they always like refer to you by your rank when they fuck up. It's just like, okay, so we're going to pull rank now, even though you're the one that's going to get me in trouble for you not knowing how to do your job when you should know how to do this.
It's like, wait a minute, how did you get to E7 if you don't know how to clear a fucking pistol?
I'm sure he did. He just didn't give a shit at that point because he was literally talking and just went, yeah. It was that quick. I'm like, I mean, it made me jump. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, what? Really? God damn! Like, yeah.
How many waffle stompers did you guys have?
What?
Did you guys ever have waffle stompers?
What's that?
Oh, this was like a whole thing, like at basic and fucking my first deployment, in my deployment, where like we had to have these things plastered all over the bathrooms that says "shit in the toilet, not in the showers," because people would fucking shit in the shower and then use their foot to stomp the shit into the drain. It was like the most disgusting shit of all time. I'd be like, "What the fuck, Air Force?"
What?
Yeah, dude.
No, we didn't do that kind of stuff.
If that would have happened in our unit, we would have found out who it was very quickly and beat the ever-loving fuck out of them.
Yeah, that was some fucked up stuff.
Oh my God, that's disgusting.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh fuck, I just want to puke thinking like, oh man.
That's terrible. That's absolutely terrible.
Like I can't. I'm like, basic. I can see it because like you have the unwashed masses from the rest of the world, right? But like for fuck's sake, on a deployment, what the hell?
Oh God.
I think Mike just threw up in his mouth a little bit.
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I just don't like when
not quite.
Fucking gross. We had a seaman ninja in basic. That's the closest thing that.
What do I even want to know what that is?
Well, it's so we had. I know. Jake's gonna fucking have this massive story about how it was different and more hardcore when he was in a couple years before me.
Oh,
anyway,
he's that
so
type of boomer.
I don't even know what a seaman. I have a bad idea of what a seaman ninja is, but I don't really want to know.
Well, you're gonna. So we actually it was nice compared to like the old school like open base shitters where it's just a bunch of toilets and urinals lined up. We actually had
we had stalls.
Yeah, we had stall. We had four shitters and 4 urinals, right? And so we'd have when you're shitting, they had these educational cards like on the inside of the stall door that you could read while you shit, like how to spot an IED, how to fucking, what's the 9-line medevac, rules for the use of force.
That's high speed.
Yeah, so did that. Anyway, they were in like a laminated sleeve that stuck onto the fucking thing, and the top was open. Well, we couldn't figure out that like these cards would start running and there'd be like crusty shit on the outside of the plastic. And like the cards themselves were like, they were just printed pieces of paper. They weren't like actual laminated cards. And it was just like running the ink and everything. And it was like crusted on there. We're like, that's cum. Like that's semen. It's gotta be. But we're like, but the toilet's like 3.5 feet away from that. What is going on here? And so and it would happen at night. So everybody was sleeping except fire guard. And so I was investigating this.
Fucking private investigator Mike Birch just fucking doing his fucking like.
Well, when I'd be on
Nancy
guard,
Drew ass shit.
I'm like, who is going up constantly on a certain time of the night, like on a fire guard shift? And one of my friends, we'll just call him Aaron, would get up around the same time. It was like 10 to 11. Right after we went to bed, basically, he'd have to get up and take a piss or shit or whatever. He liked to shit when there was nobody else crowding and there was no noise. I respect that. Not a big deal. So eventually, and then we'd find the cum shot in the morning. It was just freshly dried and everything. And it was just whatever. And it's like, because we replaced the cards. So we know that it happened within 24 hours, right? Anyway, so I asked him straight up. I said, he came out of the bathroom after taking his shit one time when I was on fire guard. I'm like, are you snapping one off in there? He goes, yeah, I took a schwack. I'm like, okay, that's fair. But like, are you the one spraying it on the cards? He goes, yeah. And I'm like,
what the fuck?
Exactly what I said. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like, why are you doing that? He goes, because I can. And I'm like, do you like stand up next? He goes, no, I try to aim from the toilet. And I'm like, how do you have that much fucking range, dude? Like, you're gonna blow some chick's cervix out with that fucking power behind it. Like, Jesus Christ. And he's like, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I'm bored and I hate this place. And I'm like, well, yeah, but Jesus.
So do the rest of us, but we're not fucking coming on shit.
Right. You fucking point your dick down and fucking spray it into the toilet. That's the respectable, clean thing to do. You taking a schwack, everybody does it.
I don't say it's good. The logic is sound, though. I hate this place, so this is why I do it. I mean, Okay,
he hated
yeah,
At
everybody
least he
there,
was
too.
honest.
Well, and here's the thing: is because I found out it was him. He's my friend, and he still is to this day. I didn't rat him out. So I knew every time somebody would find one of those cards that was splattered in cum, I would sit there and be like, "Look at him."
Nancy Drew's on it, boys.
Yeah, and then there was another fun time. Fire Guard was really weird. Like you'd see some weird shit like that people do at night when they think nobody's around. There was like this noise coming from the showers, and I'm like, "What the fuck is? Nobody should be in there right now." And so we're doing Fire Guard with nods with our night vision to get used to it and shit. So we're walking around. I said, "Oh, it's cool and everything." So I go into the shower. It's pitch black in there. And I turn the corner, and there's this fucking lanky ass black dude from, I think he was like fucking from Georgia or Alabama, some southern state. Tall, lanky dude. Weird guy. Nice guy, but weird. He's laying down in the corner of the shower room, spread eagle, completely like just laying down against the wall like this, snapping one off vigorously. And I looked at him, I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" He goes, "Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm enjoying myself." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't want to clean up semen on the fucking shower floor again." Yeah, you see weird shit. Like it was the weirdest thing. And I just like walked away and I'm like, I can't even comprehend. I need to get out of here. This is fucked.
Yeah, we had one short guy from Texas. His name was Wilson. And
Shaped like a
for
fucking
the
ball.
life of us, we could not fucking convince him to stop doing this, and we got smoked so many fucking times for it. Every fucking morning after PT and after breakfast chow, when we were supposed to be changing into our duty uniforms and getting ready for the training day, he'd go up into the fucking shower room and he'd take a quick shower after breakfast. And the drill sergeants would smoke us because the showers were supposed to be dry in the morning.
Yeah.
Like the time to shower was at night before you went to bed. And every fucking day he would shower in the fucking morning when we were expressly told not to.
No, you shower before you go to bed. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he would shower before he went to bed too. You know, he was a clean guy, but he could not go through the day without having that morning shower. And it's like, dude, how many times are you going to get us fucking smoked because you have to take a goddamn shower in the morning?
We had to shower twice a day.
This was also the guy that when he found out that our senior drill sergeant had been in the Marine Corps before he was in the Army, he was like, "Yeah, Drill Sergeant Vance said, did you know my dad? My dad was in the Marine Corps. Did you know my daddy when you was in the Marine Corps?" It's like, oh my god,
idiot.
Shut your fucking mouth. Nobody fucking cares what your daddy did. And that's basically the look our drill sergeant gave him too. It was just shut your fucking hole.
Do you have any fun stories from Lackland, Chris? Like weird fucked up things?
We fucking we were it's like second or third day when we're marching at the flight, right? To go to medical, just to like do in processing, you get like all of our like peanut butter jelly shots, like all of our vaccination. And like as we're getting there, just this dude just fucking takes off running, like away from our flight. Like we had turned a corner. Our drill instructor told us to like turn a corner and just go in because that's where like the doors were, right? And so he was chatting with somebody else, and this guy from our flight just takes fucking off, just starts running. And so we're just sitting there like, well, that's fun. And like, so we're like, have to go in and process with like the E3s that I've like just gotten out of basic that are working on Lackland. That would fucking suck.
Oh god, yeah.
To get stationed back at basic training. To, like,
it's like shit returning up into the asshole. Like it's just not good.
So like,
with the blue chemical water from the toilet.
So we're there and we're like, yeah. So one of our like trainees just like ran away. They're like, what? Like, yeah, he just started running. Like we don't know. And they're like, all right, we're gonna go talk to somebody. So they talk to like the whoever's running it, and they're like, well, that sucks. Like, we're not gonna do shit about it. Like, I don't really fucking care. Call MP or like call a SecFo and they'll figure it out. And then this like fucking lieutenant colonel or full bird colonel comes over and goes, hey, you guys missing something? Because I think we found them. And just like completely nonchalant, just like, oh, this is a fucking funny day. But so like that was like the third day, and like Air Force Basic, I think it was like 7 weeks at that point in time. And so like we had like finished out processed. started going to like our next training area for that, we found out he was still being held at Lackland.
Oh yeah. If you
Like-
try to get out of training, you're fucked. That same shit happened in reception. We had 2 guys that quit before they even got to our fucking training unit. And we went to get we went to go pick up our class A's like the week of graduation.
So had they actually went to your bait, like got on the plane and flew?
They
Yes,
never left
they were-
AG
Yep, they were at Benning, but they were still in
at reception. Yeah.
Okay.
At reception, they said, I can't do this. I need to go home. I need to get chaptered out. I can't.
Yeah,
do
you
this."
had that opportunity before you got on the fucking flight. That's what
Right.
was told to us. You are completely you are fine until you get on the flight. If you get on the flight, you're fucked. Like if you want to quit, the easiest way is to
graduate. Because and I'll explain this, because we picked up our class A's and we're walking back, and I saw these same 2 fucking guys that were still in reception working. And I'm
they're now on detail. We have to figure out what we're gonna do with you two.
Hey guys, how you doing? And they're like, I fucking hate my life. I'm like, you should have just fucking manned up and done it. I'm like, I made it through it. You fuckers could have too. Have fun rotting in Charlie Company. And then I just kept walking with my buddy. It's like, he was like, oh man, those 2, like, you were in reception with them? I'm like, yep. And yeah, they were there because they don't give a shit about your paperwork. They care about all the trainees. And that was during the height of the surge. So there's fucking tens of thousands of people going. And so they didn't give a shit. Those guys are probably there for 9 months, and I was there for 4.
Yeah.
So fuck them. And okay, another funny story that I remembered from you. You said you were marching around. There's nothing worse than going on a fucking group run. And I know Lackland's pretty flat, like where you guys run, but
we have a track. Like we don't fucking like.
Oh shit, we ran.
We don't do off road in the Air Force, like unless we're
we did on the roads, but they were like fucking
on road.
Yeah, and so Fort Benning, Sand Hill is literally a bunch of fucking hills. Like
it's not flat.
And the hardball, the roads are so ate up, they're so torn up because they can't repair them because they would have to shut down training or a part of it. They've got potholes, they just keep patching them, and they're all fucked up. Anyway, so the worst fucking thing and this happened multiple times, but there was one day where we were out in the field for like 3 or 4 days straight, living off of MREs and mainly MREs. We get back and we have the chow hall food. Well, your digestive system starts clearing things out that have been stuck in there for a while when you're out in the field, right? So we're running, we're doing our group run, all in formation, yelling, screaming, sucking wind, because we're going up these fucking hills. We're going up this hill, and this one guy towards the front of the formation blows a fart that was so fucking disgusting. And as we're running through this cloud of shit, all you could hear is just, and as it's moving back, I'm like, oh God, no. And it hits me and I'm just fucking retching because you're running and you're nauseous already because you're pushing yourself. And all of a sudden this fucking, you could taste it. I mean, it's like it coated your mouth and your nose. Jake, did you ever experience that in a group run?
No.
Oh my God.
Not.
Dude, it was disgusting. It was fucked.
I can imagine, but no, I didn't experience it myself.
Oh, Jesus. And he had some pride about it too. He's like, oh, you fuckers, gotcha. He's like, that's why you go to the front of the formation. I'm like, no. Don't do that again. And of course, it happened again multiple times. Just absolute, the retching, it makes you want to throw up more as it's moving back in the line. Oh, God, it was just the worst.
Yeah.
Fucking just blowing it. I mean, that fucker must have itched when it dried. It was disgusting.
It's the swamps of Dagobah over there.
Yeah, not good. It's a very dark place. But yeah, that was fucked up. And then, God, what else happened there? Because when you're in your unit, there's less fuckery because you're not under that much stress all the time, and like it's not as weird. What do you?
That's 254.
That's 254. That's that's
254
field. Yeah, I was down in Charlie Company.
This is Alpha.
Yeah, I was straight across from you on the other side. That's Charlie right there. Yep. And I was on the bottom part on the first floor. And there's the parking lot.
This wing or that wing?
The bottom one.
Front wing?
Yeah, that was first and second. Or no, that was first and fourth, and then the other one was second and third.
Yeah. This one was first platoon on top floor, third platoon on the bottom floor, and this was second and fourth top and bottom. And my wall locker was about here-ish. on the
Yeah,
inside.
those satellites are great. Mine was down on the bottom one, on the top side of the bottom one, just about where it has that V, like towards the right side. Yeah, it's about right there. Yeah.
Oh,
I was
you were at the far end of the bay too.
Yep, I was at the far end by the shitters. I was 2 bunks away. Or I was the
So
second bunk away.
one thing that you can't tell from satellite imagery is the hill.
Oh,
right
that fucking
here.
crab walking and fucking buddy. And then the one on the left is longer and steeper.
Yeah.
And that one's the one we did buddy carries up and down.
I bear crawled through a fire ant hill going up this one morning.
That sounds
Dude, and
dumb.
then the ropes right there.
This fucking hill is all fucking fire ant mounds.
It's disgusting. It's fucking
Yeah.
awful. And then the ropes right there, that was fucking fun because we just started doing. I could never do the ropes, by the way. I could never fucking do those.
It was the greatest day when I was actually able. When the drill sergeants, they normally made us climb halfway up them.
Yeah.
Greatest fucking day towards the end of base when they let us climb all the way to the top.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of heights. I fucking hate heights and with a passion. I climbed all the way to the top, like just as the sun was starting to come up over the horizon, and I was looking out over the field, looking towards the south. It was just fucking amazing. Absolutely.
There was a time I got there in August, and in like mid to late September, we were doing the ropes, and I'm sitting there doing push-ups because I couldn't fucking do the ropes. So I had to do push-ups the whole time that everybody else was climbing them, which sucked, but whatever. And we're sitting there, and our drill sergeant's sitting on the top of the ropes, on that beam on the top. And all of a sudden, the sky to the south turns green within like 2 minutes, like bright, dark green.
Storm is coming.
And I'm looking at it, and all of a sudden, he goes like this. He looks over, and he goes, does a double take, and he goes,
"Fuck!
Oh fuck! Get off the fucking ropes!" And it's like that fucking that storm in James and the Giant Peach at the end with that rhinoceros. It's like visibly moving, and he's like, "Get the fuck off the ropes!" So he jumps down and skimmies down. And he's like, "All right, get in formation." And he's looking at this guy, goes, "Fuck it." He's like, "Run as fast as you can back to the fucking CTA." So we're running, and we made it to about, I don't know, the beginning of that parking lot right there. And it was white out fucking heavy stinging rain, like wind and fucking shit. We couldn't see. So we all grabbed onto each other, like in the gas chamber. We all grabbed onto each other, and we were like, we're in our PT, so it's hurting. And we had to run all the way back to where, like, you know, the cursor is, which is like probably a 75, 80, 90 yards in like whiteout rain. And then it did that. It was a hurricane. And it was there in like 7 minutes. It was like there. And then, it was whatever. And then, so Jake, pull out a little bit. And then
She said,
I don't do that.
Died. Yeah. So, okay. See that? Okay, Chris, that thing that big patch, that big rectangle.
Yes.
That's the graduation field. One of them.
The parade field?
Yeah.
Is that what you guys kind of call them?
Yeah, we call it parade field. Yeah. So that was, at that time, that was one of them. There was another one over to the right, but so we were that close.
This is the one I was at. Yeah, that's when I
Why the fuck
graduated
did they put you over there? Oh, I suppose they had to just work with what they had.
Well, I don't know, because they did.
Yeah. Yeah, but anyway,
because we had Bradleys at ours.
So did we.
That guy?
We had a Bradley and a Striker, but so go back. So every fucking time they had a graduation, we could see it and hear it. And it was like the most demoralizing thing at first, because we're like, oh fuck, that day is so far away. And then it gets to be not so far away. And then there's the PX right there, the little fucker, the shopette.
Yep. And
then
the troop store. Yeah.
Yeah.
And somewhere over here, where is it? I think it's somewhere. I think it's this building is the fucking dental clinic where I had one of my wisdom teeth pulled.
Ooh.
Ouch.
Yeah, I had my first wisdom tooth pulled on Sand Hill by an army dentist during basic. That's a fun story. So, like, just a week or so before I had that wisdom tooth pulled, 3rd Platoon had been busted snorting Percocet.
The fuck?
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Yeah. So I go down there, I get my fucking wisdom tooth pulled. I have to walk from there back to the fucking company with my mouth stuffed with cotton, my jaw still numb from lidocaine, but I can feel it throbbing because they had to cut and grind and pry to get it out, and I was wide awake for the whole time, the whole thing. So I walk back. I check in with the company. I check in at the what is it, QC desk or CQ desk, and they take my sick call slip into the first sergeant. First sergeant immediately calls me in because my sick call slip also has a prescription for Percocet on it. And I'm standing there, my jaw is still numb, but it's starting to throb, and my mouth is still packed with cotton. He's like, "Private, I shouldn't have to tell you the problems that we've been having with Percocet in this company lately." I'm like, "No, First Sergeant, I wasn't planning on getting the prescription filled." And he said to me, "No, you're gonna want that when that lidocaine wears off. You go upstairs, you grab a battle buddy, go over to the CQ desk, and get a ride down to the base hospital and get that prescription filled and check back in with me when you get back." Okay, so I did that. I went upstairs. I grabbed one of the guys from my squad and I'm like, "Hey, you want to go to the base hospital with me?" He's like, "Sure, let's get the fuck out of here." It was like I think it was like a Saturday or a Sunday. But so we run down to the base hospital, get the prescription filled, get back. It's been like 2 hours by this point, and the lidocaine is long since gone. My jaw's bleeding, throbbing. I'm in agony. I check back in, go back upstairs to the barracks, and I'm supposed to be on 24-hour bed rest. We walk into the barracks, and the entire fucking platoon is getting their asses smoked, and everything is in piles in the middle of the kill zone.
Oh.
Like the mattresses are in piles, blankets, sheets, boots. The boots are in one pile, and all the laces are tied together into one giant fucking knot. And Hernandez and I are the only ones who weren't fucking there when all this started. And I look at Hernandez as we get back into the area. We sneak back in to our spots. Our bunks are right next to each other. And here I am, fresh out of having a wisdom tooth pulled out of my jaw. And I start doing push-ups because I'm not going to be that one guy laying on my fucking rack on a bed rest profile when the rest of the platoon is getting their asses handed to them. That was, oh my God, that was a rough couple of days because the next couple of nights we had to sleep on the floor. The drill sergeants made us put our bunk displays up on the bare springs of our bunk beds, and so we weren't allowed to touch our bunks, and so we slept on the floor the first night. Then somebody in the company command found out that we had been sleeping on the bare floor, on the tile floor, and they're like, "No, they need to sleep on at least the mattresses." So we pulled the mattresses down. We were sleeping on the mattresses between the wall lockers. That was to this day I don't know what started that whole fucking thing, but I wasn't there for the start of it, and I had to deal with it throughout the whole fucking thing with a
It's
hole
really
in my
fun
jaw.
walking into a bay where 60 motherfuckers are getting the shit smoked out of them, and you're like, okay.
Yeah. So when you get baby flights, right? At least at Air Force, if you're one of the older flights, you can pull a fire watch for them. So you go down and you just fuck around and just make sure that they don't do anything stupid to kill themselves, right? So we're just chilling. It's 6 o'clock. The drill instructor sneaks in through a back way instead of going through the main door. And you're just like, did they do anything? Nope. Everything was good. And then as he walks in, I don't know what. One of them was cocking off and did something stupid. Didn't think it was the drill instructor. So we just get to sit there and watch as the entire room gets smoked in front of us. Just me and my buddy was like, well, this is fun. I don't have to do this because I'm not part of you people. So.
What do you mean, you people?
You know exactly what I mean.
Oh, look what I just found.
Oh, the cattle cars, yeah.
The fucking cattle trucks.
That's what
if you haven't ridden on a cattle truck, you've never been to basic.
I'm sorry. Is this something too low of an ASVAB score for me to understand?
Yeah, it's a fucking literal cattle car that's pulled by a semi, and it fits an entire 60 to 100 guys, depending on how tight you pack them in. And
half a company.
It's fucking miserable.
Uh-huh.
How far
Absolutely.
would you ride in the back of this thing with? For
As far as they needed us to.
sometimes 3 miles, sometimes 45 minutes. Like your feet go or your legs go numb completely because you got to front load your fucking ruck.
Yep. The
And-
only saving grace is that you're packed in so fucking tight you can't fall down.
Yeah.
That's good.
But there's like lead paint and steel all over the place.
Yeah, it's not ideal.
No.
But yeah, that's where those fuckers were.
There were
Jesus.
some nice ones. There were some of the nice ones, the big ones that were like 80s bowling alley colors.
Yeah, most of ours by the time we got there had like steel seats in them and like a bench in the front, but most people stood.
That's like these old ones here, the short ones.
Yeah.
But like these big ones here, they were like a motor coach that was just getting pulled behind a semi.
Exactly, yeah.
And I think we got to ride on those like once.
Yeah.
In 14 weeks.
Yeah, those things are fucking. I mean, it's a good place to take a fucking power nap. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, because you're not going to fall down.
Yep.
The first guys on are the luckiest because they actually get to sit down. But
Yep.
in some ways they're the least lucky because they're sitting down with their rucksack on their lap. Well, they have somebody standing literally right in front of them, facing them, and that somebody's rucksack is on top of their rucksack.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Thinking about the cattle car just brought it up. I almost got another Article 15. Almost. Like week 8 or 9, I think it was. Yeah, somewhere around there. Anyway, so we were out at the confidence or the what the fuck is it called where you gotta like do the puzzles and like get people across water and shit? I think the leadership course, right?
No, that was the team building course.
Yeah, whatever the fuck they call it. You know what I'm talking about, where you got like you gotta like crawl through those culverts and shit and like put 2x4s on there and get yeah. And then
that was the team building course, and it used to be it's up here.
Yeah, it's somewhere in there, and it's like just filled with a bunch of water and shit.
254 is right there, and it's literally right here.
Oh no, it's further than that.
I remember.
No, because we were on cattle cars. No, we were on cattle cars. We had to go outside of the.
You must, you had to have gone to a different spot than I did.
Because we were. So anyway, we're out there, and I had just gotten my. No. So this is only like week 4 then.
It was early.
Because I had just gotten my saw like a few days before that, and they made us take I had to carry my M4 on my back, right? Because there was nobody to guard weapons back at the barracks. So I asked my battle boy, I'm like, dude, can you just carry my fucking M4? The saw is heavy and shit, and like I got to carry the rest of the shit for it. He's like, yeah, sure, fine. Just kind of blew me off a little bit. So we're out there doing that. So we get onto the cattle car. I'm one of the first people in, and I have a saw. And all of a sudden, I look back and I see my battle buddy, and he's got his M4. I said, hey, where's my M4? He goes, well, I don't fucking know. Don't you have it? I'm like, dude, I asked you to carry. He goes, I'm like, fuck, okay, fine. At that point, I'm just like, we'll deal with this later. I push through people. I run out, and I'm going back to where I had set it. And my drill sergeant's sitting there spinning it on his boot.
Oh, yep, you're in trouble.
And I just went, oh, God. Like, I had that look. And he goes, he grabs the muzzle, hands it to me. He goes, you're fucked.
Yep.
He goes, I'm Article 15 in your ass. Get the fuck back there and see me when we get back. It's like, oh, my God, here we go. And so I was pissed off the whole time. We rode back and go to his office. He goes, why the fuck did you forget your fucking rifle? And I'm like, I thought my battle buddy had it. We had an agreement, and he didn't have it. And he goes, so you're saying it's not your fault? I was like, no, it's my fault. It was my fault with accountability, blah, blah, blah. Took responsibility for it. He goes, all right, you have 2 options. Either you can do extra duty for 2 weeks, or I'm Article 15 in your ass. I was like, I'll take the extra duty. And extra duty means when you get back, whatever time it is during the day, you have to do 2 to 4 hours of extra duty after that while everybody else is chilling out, doing maintenance and whatever. So I did that for 2 fucking weeks. I swept that parking lot quite a bit and did a bunch of other shit. But once that was done, he's like, yeah, nothing happened. We're good.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, that's good. Oh, those things, I never wrote on that.
Yeah, that's actually a nicer one than I wrote on. That actually has windows.
Just more corners for you to smoke your face on.
Yeah, pretty much. And I got another tab here. Screen share. Don't show
Yeah, we
these
were always on
fucking
those
tips
really
again.
long fuckers, the big ones.
Where is it? This one. This is a very not crowded one. That's what they looked like on the inside.
Oh my.
Oh, the little ones, yeah.
Yeah. This was a very not crowded one. Imagine instead of these guys actually sitting knee to knee, imagine there being a row of people standing where their knees are.
Oh.
And these guys are actually standing on the benches.
Where the fuck? I'm trying to find a picture of the ones that we were on.
Here, yeah, this one's a meme, but it's the right kind.
Wonderful times in the military.
Benches. Why the fuck don't they have any pictures of the ones that we? Oh, well, this here. I'll send it to you, Jake, since you got your screen up already. It's a blurry ass picture, but this is the kind that we mostly wrote on. And that's
yeah, that's the same kind.
Yeah, those fucking blow.
Yeah, that's the same kind. But yeah, the one I'm sharing right now is what they look like on the outside.
Yeah, ours were the long fuckers. We never did the short ones. I'm trying to find a fucking picture of them because they were like, oh, okay. Here's what they. Well, no, that's. God damn it! Why can't I just fucking find one?
We just had yellow buses, and the only time we ever took that was to Beast. Otherwise, everything else we just marched towards.
That's funny. When I hear Air Force talking about the Beast Week thing, I'm like,
that sounds like day one.
Were they really that fucking small?
Yeah, they were really that fucking small. There were bigger ones that looked like, they had the pastel colors from like an 80s fast food restaurant.
Yeah, like, okay, I think this is what I more remember it as, like.
Yeah, that's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, that's the one that.
Those were the nice ones that I only got to ride in like once.
Well, yeah, but that was 05. They had a bunch of them when I was there, and they're still not ideal, but at least you could sit for the most part.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't let us ride in those ones.
Well, they probably didn't have many of them at that point.
No, they had plenty of them, but our company never laid them on for some reason.
Yeah, they're still fucking not fun. There was one time I got to.
You have to remember, my drill sergeants were the type of guys who enlisted in the early to mid 90s.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah. They were the Stripes generation. That should be the next. That should be the next movie that we watch on Discord. Is we should watch the director's cut of Stripes.
There was one time on that one that you just showed that they had one seat that was usually reserved for like the cadre, right by the door, and it didn't have a fucking bar or a thing in front of you. I got to ride on that one once when I had dysentery. They actually let me like ride in there because they're like, if you have to fucking hurl, you're gonna do it down in the bottom so we can just mop it out when we get back.
Fucking had dysentery at Basic.
Oh, dude, it was fucking
Basic
awful.
Was terrible. I had fucking pink eye twice.
Well, that's dysentery is a lot worse than pink eye, I will tell you.
Yeah, it's like fucking 90% of my old Oregon Trail people died from fucking dysentery.
Dude, I can see why, because I almost died because it was
dehydrates the fuck out of you, doesn't it?
Dude, I could not literally hold any fluid or anything in my body, like even a sip. It was so fucking bad, and it was I got it. We were at a fucking range, so I had all my shit on, and in the morning we're sitting there going through like some stupid thing, and I'm like, I gotta fucking puke. And at the same time, I go over to the road, and the post commander happened to be visiting that particular range that fucking day, and he happened to be driving up as I go over to the road, and I'm fucking hurling up my breakfast. And this other kid had it at the same time too, so we must have gotten it from the water or something we ate, because we were throwing up like clockwork at the same time. And it got to the point where I was trying to drink water, and this kid is like skinny as shit, and I'm just like dying. Long story short, in the afternoon, it's like we can't fucking move, like we're just dying. And so we ended up getting IVs, and it was they made us drink hydration salts that they had, one of the drill sergeants had from Iraq like 4 years or 3 years before that.
Yeah.
That was disgusting. You fill up a canteen with lukewarm water, you dump the hydration salts in, shake it up, and pound the whole fucking thing. And so we did that. I said, Joe, sorry, I'm just going to throw it up. And he goes, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah, go ahead and fucking do it. So we both fucking drank the whole canteen. We're sitting there, and he's like, yeah, see, you guys ain't that sick. I had a temperature of like 104, and so did the other kid. And he's like, oh, you guys aren't that sick. And all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, here it goes. And so I turn around. Our company commander is walking up to us, and he's like right next to me. I shove him out of the way full force, and I just fucking all the water comes like dropped to my knees. He goes, holy fuck, what's wrong with these guys? We're just hurling our guts out. Joe Sergeant's like, I think they're sick. He goes, yeah, they're sicker than shit. Get them fixed. And so, yeah, we got IVs from they just picked random privates that were walking by, like, hey, you're going to come stick your buddy. Our veins were all collapsed and shit, but they got a stick. And we both took 2 1,000 milliliter bags in like 20 minutes, both of us. It was really bad. And then we tried to eat some like rice and stuff at supper, but the drill sergeant's like, once they figured out we weren't faking it, they're like, all right, drop all your shit and just kind of hang out. And then
I'm sure that they're like fucking conditioned to people just trying to be fucks and just
and me or this other kid, we were not sick call range. We never went to sick call once, but we were like fucking dying. And then we got back to the barracks, and I was like just miserable there. I had a fucking really bad fever, put my marshmallow sweats on, and was just shivering. And I don't even remember what the hell was happening, but I fell asleep. I was in my wall locker running around, and I just kind of like sunk down, and like the floor was really cold. So I was like, oh, this is comfortable. I ended up sleeping in my head was in my wall locker, and I was sleeping on the floor, and everybody else had to do like a class or some shit, but they just left me there. I woke up, and I'm like, I got to fucking puke again. So I go to the bathroom, and as I'm puking, my ass explodes.
Ooh.
And it had been exploding all day, like, because we had at the range back before this, like during the day, they had the range shitters that were just literally a concrete block with 6 holes and then really thin toilet seats on them. And I was sitting down, and it's just a big cesspool below there, right? And I'm sitting down, and I'm just pissing out of my ass, like literally, it's just water gushing. And there's this guy pissing in front of me in the urinal, and I'm just like dying. And he goes, why are you sitting down to take a piss? And I'm like, that's not piss. And he goes, holy fuck. And I'm like, because I was shitting longer than he took a piss. It was just like that. And so, yeah, in the barracks that night, I'm sitting there throwing up, and I shit myself, and I'm wearing the white marshmallow sweats. It soaks through, and there's people making fun of me. And I'm like, really? Kick me while I'm down, you fucking assholes. And so I threw those in the garbage, took a shower. And the next morning,
how did nobody bring you to the freaking like base hospital?
Unless you're like actively dying, they don't do that.
I would consider that actively dying.
Me too.
But you have to be bleeding.
You have to be like
so because it was bleeding internally, because it's supposed to be untied, so it was just gonna stay there. All right.
Yeah.
They don't bring
medicine.
you to the hospital unless you've got a really like
something
they're assholes.
Obvious.
Yeah, they're really not great about that. But anyway, so that was fun. And then the next morning, it was a really fun. I'll tell you guys off the air, because I don't want that guy to find out what I did to him in the morning. Well, what me and the other kid did, because we didn't have to go to chow. We were on weapons guard because we were still sick but recovering. And I had shit the bed that night, literally. Ooh. And we'll stop it right there on the live stream, because I'll tell you that story off the air, because what I did was really reprehensible, but I don't regret it at all. It was so satisfying.
Fuck that guy.
But
deserved it.
Oh yeah, he fucking did, and it was fun. But anyway, yeah, I mean, it's not fun. Like people whenever they're like, oh yeah, I mean, that sounds like it's so much fun. It's really not, because you can't go home. That's the thing, is people don't understand. You can't just like go home. It's not like a reenactment where you can just say fuck it and go home.
Yeah.
It's you're stuck there.
Like even so, like you break your leg there, right? Well, you still have a duty to the United States military, so you're going to be in medical, where you have the same rights as being in basic. So nothing. You get to do nothing. You might get like an updated magazine from like 1996, but like you stay there until your leg's fixed, and then you start basic again.
Yes, you get recycled.
Yep. Or you get mustered out, and then you get sent to the black hole that is the RHU, the Return Home Unit.
Yeah, which you're there for an X amount of months.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a very, very long number of months.
Yep.
Do you guys have anything called like a unicorn?
What do you mean?
Okay, so for us, so you have like your final PT test, right? It's like like a week and a half right before you actually graduate, and so it was like on a Wednesday. If you don't pass that, then you have your next PT test on Friday. And if you don't pass that one, then you go to the PT remedial flight. So you get 2 days there, and then you get one final PT test on Monday. And if you pass that one, then you get to go back to your unit, right? So a unicorn is a person that passed that last chance and then gets to go back to their unit. 99% of anybody that doesn't pass the first two aren't going to pass the one on Monday. Like,
yeah,
what the fuck are you doing, right? We had one person that like was a unicorn and came back. It was crazy. That's pretty weird.
No, they don't have anything like that.
Well, we're Air Force,
No, ours is we have
the drill sergeant. The drill sergeants will pencil whip something before they send somebody else, before they send them out.
They pencil whip me because to be fair, push-ups have never been easy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I have fucking long ass arms and I'm a big fucking dude, right? So sit-ups and the run I was fucking fine at, no problem.
Yep,
but
same here.
Push-ups were just not, and they only counted if basically your chest touched the fucking ground. And it's like, I'm breaking the goddamn plane. Anyway, long story short, I never passed a PT test up until the last one because of the push-ups. Now, the last one, he didn't really pencil whip it because I was breaking the plane and he was actually counting them. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. But so what happened was, you get done with your FTX, which is a week long or 8 days long, or was it something like that? I don't know. It was a weekend to a weekend. And you go and get your cross rifles, which I did not because it was like me and 4 other guys that didn't pass our PT test because of push-ups. And so we sat outside on our hill while they all got their shit. And then we ruck back and do your thing and start cleaning. You have 2 days of rest, and then you do it. You're out there and doing a PT test in the morning. Okay. So that one, that one sucked because we had another unit. It was Alpha Company. Actually, their drill sergeants came over and administered the PT test. And that guy was a fucking asshole. Usually they give me a couple. I get like 38 counted and you needed 42.
Mm-hmm.
This guy gave me like 20. And I was like, what the fuck?
Oh, so like you're going, he's like, one, and you don't like hit all the way, go back up, and then you still like just screaming one at you.
They sit there and they hold this clicker thing. And he was just sitting there and he just wasn't clicking it. And I'm like, okay, so I'm going down farther and farther. All of a sudden he clicks one. I'm like, okay, but all right. So I'm just going. And it was a mind fuck, I think. And then, so I failed that one. And they're like, God, you fucking regressed. You only got 20. And I'm like, okay, whatever. So you get 2 more days. And because gold phase, like before you graduate and everything, is 2 weeks long. So you get 2 more days and you do another PT test. Well, the day before that PT test, some dude came up and into the bay and said, who in here has O negative blood? I just instinctively just raised my hand. And then I went, fuck, that was stupid. And there was like 3 of us that had O negative.
Never volunteered.
He's like, you guys come with us. And so we went with them. We were forced to give blood, right? Because we had the universal donor blood. And I'm like, God damn it. So we go and give blood. They take a pint out or whatever. And then the next morning is the PT test. I passed the fucking push-ups for once. I passed my sit-ups. I failed the fucking run for the first time since week 1. And we were running on the sand track too. Usually run on hardball, but we were running on the sand track. and I failed, and our battalion commander happened to be there, and he goes, "Why the fuck can't you pass a PT test this far into AI or OSIT?" I was like, "I have never failed my run since like week 2 or week 1 or whatever." And he goes, "So what's your problem? Why can't you do this?" I was like, I don't know, honest. Like the only thing I can think is I gave blood yesterday because I got really tired on the run." He goes, "You gave blood yesterday?" I was like, "Yeah." And he goes my drill sergeant, he goes, "Did you know he gave blood yesterday?" He goes, "No." Well, he did. You know, why'd you make him do this today? So anyway, it was like, okay, whatever. The next PT test, fucking flying colors. Got it, nailed. And then we got our cross rifles in the bay, which was more fun because we actually got to get blood rifles, which they can't do anymore. But it was cool that they just pop into your fucking chest and they bleed everywhere, and it's cool.
Yep.
But yeah, and then it was just fucking fine. But no, they don't.
Yeah, it's boring now that even promotions can't be blood promotions.
Oh yeah, you can't punch on your stripes anymore.
Well, and the fucking needles on the crossed rifles are going through your Class A collar, so they're really fucking long. Those are fun, but it was like sticking into my collarbone. It was nasty. I had to like pull it out, but cool.
But yeah, my senior drill sergeant was the one to score my last PT test, and I think I only did 37 actual push-ups on that one, but he actually counted 42, so whatever.
Whoops.
Yeah,
you made it that far. Who gives a fuck?
Yep. He actually told me when he gave me my cross rifles, "Gentlemen, you'd be an awesome soldier if you could fucking do push-ups."
They're tough, man. Like, we got long, gangly arms, and you're a fucking fat fuck.
Yeah, but
You're a
I could
big
run.
fuck.
I could run like the fucking wind. I was in the ability group A for the ability group runs. You know, my 2 mile time, my best 2 mile time at basic was 14 minutes flat, and that was done with bronchitis.
Oof.
So I couldn't fucking breathe. Like the day after that PT test, I went to sick call and finally got antibiotics.
Hewitt. 14 minutes is fucking slow.
See, you do better, fat ass.
I never have. My best time ever was 14:45, and that was in Iraq. But
yeah, my best time was actually 12:54 in Iraq.
Jesus Christ, that's cooking.
That was running around Camo Hill.
Yeah, no, that's where we did ours, and that's
Yep.
where I got my best score.
Yep.
Yeah,
12:54. I ran it with Michael Oviska. He was one of HHC's Camo guys, and Sergeant Hankey, Mike Hankey.
I was always fucking worried running that horseshoe that the
Mhm.
fucking C-ram was going to go off while I was running. Every time I run past it, I'm like,
I always
"Please
wanted it to go off.
Dude, one time I was running that and it actually moved, and I'm like, "Oh no!" And I plugged my ears as I was running. I'm like, no! God damn.
They carted you guys all the way over to Camo Hill?
Yep. Yeah, because I was on leave when they did the company PT test. Like,
You did fucking do a PT test in the theater?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh fuck!
That's
dude,
why I
Air Force
got an
just
Article
goes, nah.
15.
Now you guys,
That's
you can just do it when you get back.
That's why I got an Article 15, because I had what was my individual score? It was like 246 or 247, but the company commander wanted everybody to have a 250, and
Company
I had
commander
enough
gave you
of
a fucking article because you didn't get the PT score he wanted.
No, he gave me. I got an Article 15 because I threatened to shoot his ass.
Okay, all right, that's all right. That tracks. That tracks. Fuck no, I'm not armed.
I got a knock on the door I got a knock on the door in the middle of the fucking night saying, "Hey, CID wants to talk to you."
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and so Chris, for reference, on that PT test, you need a 180, 60% in each event to pass. You got a 240.
Yeah.
It's out of a possible 300 points.
Yeah, 247.
Oh yeah, so 247.
I missed. I literally missed it by 1.5 push-ups.
Yeah,
you would have been a good soldier apparently to the one drill instructor.
Yeah, they're fucking. They're really stupid. Yeah.
That was mostly on Mockler and Shimon.
Yeah.
Like, because Mockler and Shimon just would not stand up to anything for their guys.
Neither would our leadership. Nobody.
Fucking,
Every fucking chance, like I had fucking tire marks all over my body from being thrown out of the fucking bus so many times. Like it was insane.
I'm surprised they just didn't paint your back with a bus stop.
Dude, it was just like we had absolutely no fucking spine, no backbone for
Yeah.
it was just it was anyway.
No, we gotta look good to the MPs. We gotta make the MP. We gotta impress the MPs that are in charge of us.
Yeah, mommy's
Fuck
princess.
the MPs.
Suck a fart straight out of my fat ass. But
preferably after you've had a Dairy Shaker 3.
Yeah, it was funny because they so I was on leave in October when they did that whole PT test thing. So I went home and for 2 weeks I just did basically nothing. And I drank and I ate like shit and just didn't want to think about any of that. So when I got back, I started my new job, which fucking blew dick. And they were like, all right, we're going to do a PT test tonight. After I just gotten the shit smoked, because they were like, oh yeah, you get back from leave. And then like they were doing this like really intense workout shit to get ready for the PT test. And I was 2 weeks behind and, didn't do shit on leave. So I come back and I was just fucking destroyed. My body was destroyed, sore. And the next day I was like, could barely walk and shit, barely move. And they're like, you're doing a PT test. And I'm like, it's not going to be good. I'm like, I need a couple more days to recover and like, just kind of ease back into it. We're like, no, you're doing one tonight. I'm like, okay. So I did it. I got like 35 push-ups. I got like fucking 50 sit-ups and barely made my run. And they're like, oh, you fat piece of shit, whatever. So yeah, we were doing PT tests like basically every other day. And then
that was my entire fucking deployment.
Right.
I was averaging a record PT test every 2 weeks for the entire fucking deployment.
Yeah. They were not fun, but yeah. So anyway, finally passed it, and then it wasn't good enough, even though I met the commander's intent, which was ours was only 220, but I met that, and that was still not good enough. And yeah,
you need to be doing better than the minimum.
No, I did the minimum. The minimum
is 180.
The minimum's 180 according to Army regs, and I'm well above that. And my fucking piece of shit, lazy ass, smelly roommate scored worse than I did, but because he got a boo-boo, he doesn't have to do them anymore.
Yeah, he was a fat fuck too. Like he was.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was fatter than I was.
But yeah, the event that actually triggered my Article 15.
I've seen photos from your deployment, Mike. You were not actually fat.
No, I still had a gut, but no, I was in pretty decent shape.
But we had just gotten back from a detainee transfer mission to Taji, which was supposed to take 8 hours. It ended up taking 12 hours. We got back. It was like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. I'm sitting in my fucking shoe. I had just gotten done cleaning my weapon. I'm sitting in my PTs. I'm about to go take a fucking shower. And my squad leader pokes his head, opens the door, pokes his head in and says, "Gentlemen, PT test 0630.
No, I'm good.
We had literally just spent 12 hours in the fucking gun trucks playing with stinkies.
Yeah. Yep. So fucking glad I'm out.
No wonder that they have nobody else that wants to join.
It's just like, dude, apparently the Army's down 45% right now.
And I just fucking snapped. I went onto a forum and I'm like, I'm about to fucking cut loose, and I'm not talking about the people outside the wire. That's exactly what I said.
I'm about to cut loose.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking that was the biggest mind fuck and waste of resources ever. That was so fucking stupid. Like, but yeah, and then they wonder why is our retention so fucking low? Because it's like
because your fucking leadership sucks.
It was funny because like when we deployed in 09, remember how many fucking first ID, third ID combat patches were on, guys? Because they stayed in because they're like, yeah, this is we did our job. It was rough at times, but like, hey, we did our fucking job. We're gonna do it again. And then about, I don't know, within 6 months after we got back, I know you were fucking out because you're stop loss, but like within 6 months, about, I don't know, 20% of us had a combat patch on.
Yeah.
I mean, that quick. Because everybody that was just hanging on was like, I'm fucking gone. A lot of good NCOs as well. A lot of really good NCOs.
You start with the surge, right? Yeah, all of a sudden you have like these people that go, well, now I can make a career of this. I can be a career officer. So now I just got to fuck over everybody to get what I need so I can become XYZ rank.
And that's what it was. It really was. It was from the top down, down to about some of the E6s. It was about, for us, it was about half were okay and then half were self-centered cunts.
Yeah, Fort Hood, answering a question from chat, Fort Hood happened right about the same time as my Article 15, because mine was October of 2009.
Yep,
and it actually wasn't long after that fucking douche-wazzle over in Afghanistan deserted.
Oh, Bergdahl? Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't. I was on. I was in custody basically when Bergdahl deserted.
Yeah.
So yeah, none of that helped my case any.
October was a really shitty month for a lot of fucking people in 2009 that were deployed to both theaters, because that's when one of my friends that he's been on here, Jonesy, he was at Cap Keating in October. And we had heard about that. And then it was funny because like a month after that, 4th ID was asking for a bunch of guys that were like deployed in Iraq to sign up to do a fucking tour in Afghanistan right back to back, because they were losing so many fucking guys. And it was like a couple of our guys actually did go with 4th ID when we got back. They came back for a couple of weeks and they deployed to Afghanistan immediately with 4th ID.
I would have rather gone with an active duty unit than ours.
Not that one. 4th ID was. You think our unit was bad? Holy shit, dude! They were so fucking terrible to their people, and then even after they got back, they were fucking terrible. There was a story that I heard from Jonesy that there was a dude who was a really good guy, good soldier, and everything. Went through that whole deployment. The night before he was ETSing, the night before, he got fucking hammered and his leadership didn't like him or something. They called him into the office in the morning that he was ETSing and they gave him a fucking breathalyzer or something and they fucking wrote him up for drunk on duty and he got a dishonorable.
I didn't think it was possible to get a dishonorable if you deployed.
Oh, it is.
I did not think it was.
Definitely is. They don't give a shit.
Whatever makes them be able to pay less benefits sometimes, it seems.
So that was one example. So, I mean, when he's and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, there's a lot of shit. My buddy that I was telling you about in basic, Aaron, was in 4th ID. He was actually in the sister company to Jonesy on the same deployment, same time, same place. And he got royally fucked over. I mean, I'll tell you off the air because I don't want to, you know what I mean? But like, he got fucked so hard, your brain's gonna explode when you hear how bad he got fucked. It's insane to me, but that's 4th ID, so I'm really glad I didn't fucking want to do that. So,
I actually tried going with 105th Cav in between deployments, but what was it? Who did we have then? Captain Carlson.
Yeah.
He wouldn't release me to go with him because I wasn't passing my PT test.
Well, it's a good thing they had a shitty deployment.
Yeah, but I would have been able to go with Woz.
Yeah. And a bunch of other guys.
I really wish Woz would have been my squad leader in 09. Because if I would have had Woz for a squad leader in 09, I would have never gotten an Article 15.
I know. Yeah.
Did he actually stick up for you guys?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so Staff Sergeant Bruce Wozniak retired from active duty and went into the Guard when his son enlisted.
Oh, okay. So like, just like a Walmart greeter, like, fuck it, I'll play Army some more.
He was a Wisconsin State Patrol trooper when he enlisted in the Guard, but his active duty time, he was a commissioned officer in the Green Berets.
Oh, damn.
He retired as a major from the Green Berets to go into the Wisconsin State Patrol. And then when his son enlisted in the Wisconsin Guard, he went to the Wisconsin Guard and said, hey, I want to deploy with my son. And they're like, we don't have any officer slots for you. And he's like, what do you have? We can give you an E6 slot. And he took it.
Ooh, would fuck up his retirement too, wouldn't it?
No, it
wouldn't.
didn't. Nope.
No.
Nope.
it's
Because
state
I
versus
attended
federal,
his retirement. I attended his retirement ceremony 2 years ago when he was basically forced out of the army. He aged out.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, he
he's,
aged out, and they forced him out of both the Army and the Wisconsin State Patrol, and he retired as a major.
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, he was a fucking awesome leader.
I still talk to him fairly regular. He's
So do I,
fucking
yeah.
amazing.
Yep. Yeah, we were
he-
sitting there bullshitting for several hours a little while back, and yeah, it's pretty funny. He was telling me I should fucking never mind. It's a long fucking rabbit hole, but
If the Army could clone every Bruce Wozniak, or clone Bruce Wozniak and put a Bruce Wozniak in every fucking combat leadership position, the Army's recruitment numbers would be off the fucking chart.
mhm. Yeah,
Because he doesn't give a shit about he cares enough about the bureaucratic bullshit like PT scores to meet the requirements.
Yeah. Yep.
Because what's important to him is completing the mission, not meeting bureaucratic fucking requirements.
Yeah, and if you're having problems with something to complete the mission, he will make sure you understand it in a way that you will be successful.
Want to complete it. Yeah.
Yep. And you will be successful. Like there's no not doing your job when he's in charge. Like,
No.
there's none of that.
But there's a lot of you want to do your job when he's in charge.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He's the kind of guy. He's the kind of guy that you will walk into hell because he's your leadership. Because he's the guy in charge of you.
At AT in 2011, we were at the Mount site, and he was my squad leader then, which is fucking awesome. And I had I'm not going to name this guy because he doesn't deserve to be known, but the other cook that got rank by quote unquote reclassing was my.
I know who you're talking about.
Oh yeah,
I know who you're talking about.
So he was my
Fuck
team
him.
leader. I know he was my team leader, which sucked. And it was me and him that had combat patches. The rest of our team and most of the squad were fuzzies, right? And we were doing Mount, and this guy froze the fuck up in the middle of our actual being scored, our dynamic, like multi-phase, clear this side of the town and then move over to the other side of the town and clear that big ass building. He froze the fuck up. And so I grabbed him and I like slid him up on the wall by his vest. I said, "What the fuck are we doing?" And he's like, and then Woz took over and he's just like, "We're doing this and that." And so I started telling the new guys where to go. And then Woz goes, "All right, we're crossing. Fucking Alpha team, go. Bravo team, go." We sprint across, get in there, do our Mount shit. So we're in this big ass building. It's the one where you got to go up the big set of stairs. And then it's like a hallway that goes back. It's a really shitty fucking room and shitty situation. So I'm the second one up and I'm sitting there and one of the new guys is in front of me. All of a sudden he gets to the top step and he goes to pie the corner and a fucking 240 Bravo opens up in that fucking building. And so he trips and falls and eats shit on the top of the steps and he's trying to fire and like get back. I just take my M4 with a 203 on it, put it through the rungs of this fucking banister thing and just go dump a magazine, fucking change mags, get up. Because Woz is like, "What the fuck's going on? Get up there." And the machine gun wouldn't stop. And then we get up there and I turn around and I kind of did this and he took the fucking hit like he should have initially. And so we get up there and we go and clear out. And it's just me and one guy left, right? Because this guy ate shit. So we all went past him and he could be the fourth guy. So me and this other new guy, we go up, we stack up on the thing and I had my hand on him and I tapped him. We fucking go in and I hear shooting. So I come around the corner in a fucking fraction of a second, take that guy out, clear the fucking room. And the OC is sitting right there. And so the new guy just kind of puts his rifle down and I was like, "Are you hit?" And he goes, "I think so." And so I was like, "Fuck." And so I started screaming, "Got a man down." Well, nothing was ever said to him. He just thought he was hit. So nothing was said to him. And then Woz comes up, he goes, "Who said? Who fucking said?" And I'm like, he goes, "Who fucking said? who fucking said he was down? He starts hitting my helmet, and I'm like, oh fuck. And I realized the mistake that I just made. Because if we would have had to drag a guy out of there, we would have failed the course. And the OC didn't say that this guy was shot because I nailed him so quick. And so he starts fucking screaming at me as we're going through the rest of the house.
You have to remember, Waz yells, or he talks like a deaf guy because he's fucking deaf.
Well, no, he wasn't talking. He was screaming at the top of his fucking lungs.
Even when he screams, he's got that deaf guy lisp.
So he's behind me smacking my fucking. This is all on video too. It was funny as shit. We got because they had the cameras in there, so you could do an AR and go through what you did well and what you did. And so he's sitting there. We get to this, and the guy in the room that's replaying the footage hasn't seen it, and he's like, pauses it. He goes, "What happened here?" I said, "A failure of communication, a lack of communication, and it was being corrected at this point." Because I mean, he was literally like, you could visibly see, and we get into a stack, and I'm like, I know, I'm like doing this. I'm like, I get it. I fucked up. I get it. We're good. He's like, who fucking said? You just gotta fucking use your fucking head. He's just screaming at me and shit. And I'm like, I get it. He goes, God, fucking idiot. And so we end up completing the course and shit. But it's funny. I remember that the guy's sitting there watching, and he's just beating the shit out of my head. I mean, I have a helmet on. It didn't hurt. And he just goes, click. What happened here? And then I just immediately rattled it off.
Waz is a fucking hoot.
Yeah, and I rattled it off, and the guy goes, okay, and then he keeps playing it. And so our little thing, like from there on out, because Waz came up and apologized. He's like, I'm sorry, but because I think he thought I was going to make an issue out of it. And I'm like, no, I fucked up. I deserved that because that could have cost us that shit. We were all tired and whatever. I got it. So our thing after that is like when we'd see each other at drills or whatever, be like, who fucking said? He'd start screaming, who fucking said? It was so funny. But yeah, it was that's how I learned. Okay, well, who fucking said? Literally nobody. So I should have kept my fucking mouth shut.
Yep.
So, but easy way to learn.
Yeah.
But god damn. But yeah, that's the kind of shit. Sometimes you gotta learn like that.
Yeah.
Waz
was good
so
for that.
stupid. You do something so stupid, that's the only way to correct it. So
Hendo too. You think
good.
about it, the best NCO leadership we had in all of Bravo Company were the guys that came from active duty.
Yep. Absolutely.
Except Penny.
Yeah, he was a self-righteous, egotistical prick.
Duke wasn't bad, but Duke was active
awesome.
duty too.
Duke
Yeah.
was my squad leader. He was fucking awesome.
Duke was active
He only
duty.
smoked me once because I made fun of his glasses, his BCGs. He put them
Oh
on.
my god, birth control glasses.
Dude, he had them on one time, right? I think as we were deploying, because we were at New Richmond. No, we weren't. Anyway, it doesn't matter. We were standing around, and I'd never seen him wear those, and there was like Coke bottle glasses, right?
Yeah.
And I just
He
went,
normally wore contacts.
I'm like, how the fuck do you see through those? He goes, are you
Just
making
fucking
fun of my
push.
glasses? Like, you know how he jokes around like that
Yeah.
sometimes? He goes,
Yeah, you
are
can't
making
tell.
Fun of are you making fun of my glasses?
Chris, Duke is completely fucking deadpan when he's joking and when he's serious. He's fucking deadpan. You cannot tell.
I'd be
so,
fucking practically.
Yeah, he goes, are you making fun of my glasses? And I'm like, yeah, they're huge. Like, they're so thick. He goes, get the fuck down and push. And I looked at him, I'm like, really? He goes, get the fuck down and push.
Yeah, that's
so
how
pushing,
Duke is.
And I'm like, I'm pushing, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess I should not make fun of his glasses. Like, I thought.
And now you know, don't do that.
And it wasn't just like 3 push-ups. He had me down there while he was continuing to talk to the rest of the squad about what we had to do.
God
it was like
damn.
10, 15 minutes in the front leaning rest.
Oh man, that's like asserting fucking pure dominance. Like,
well, you don't fuck with this guy. This guy is an inch taller
as tall
than me
as Mike
and shaped like a fucking V. He's a boxer.
Yeah.
This guy is fucking insanely ripped.
Uh-huh.
I mean, this guy hits you once, you're not getting back up.
I'm trying to think of who he looks like. There's a celebrity that he kind of resembles.
Yeah, maybe, but
I can't put my finger on it right now, but when I was in his squad, I was like, he looks like this guy. But I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, he was an excellent squad leader. He's very calm, very calm mannered until he's not.
Yeah.
But
like
he's
he's one of those guys where on first meeting him and working with him, you're like, is this guy really that competent?
Exactly. You think he's kind of a dipshit, like an
Yeah,
oaf,
you think
know?
you think he's kind of a retard, really.
Yep. And then when we go out and do shit, like when we're out doing a dismounted stuff, dude, he is fucking like precise. Like, all right, Alpha Team, get over there. He's on the radio calling for fire, and just fucking you get over there now. And it's just intricate. He knows exactly where everybody is, what needs to be done, and I'm like,
it's like he's already processed all of it in his head, and he knows exactly what it's going to look like as it's happening.
He knows where the enemy is going to go. How they're going to move. He's like, you guys, all right, you guys take the saw and put it over there. They're going to come up over there. Blah, blah, blah. And he's just, I'm like, holy fuck. And then, but yeah, like when we're not doing shit.
Infantry officer?
He wasn't an officer. He was an NCO.
Staff sergeant.
Oh, got it.
He's an E6.
No, but when he got out of active duty as an E5, I think.
Yeah, but when I knew him, he was an E6.
Yeah, he was an E6 the whole time. But he was 25th ID. He was in Hawaii, and he was active for
Angry Vaginas.
Yeah. He was active for I think 6-8 years, was he?
Yeah, I think 8 years.
His whole first term.
I think he did a stint in Korea too.
Yeah, he did. And then he got out, joined the guard, and then deployed. He was like he wasn't in the guard that long, and then they deployed in 04.
Yeah. Yep.
So
and he got his CIB with the guard.
Yeah, which was funny. I don't think he ever deployed with the 25th, but
no.
He it was fucking fantastic squad leader. Absolute great squad leader. There were like Hendo was a really good leader. That's the thing is
Hendo
that guy
should have had a fucking Ranger tab 3 times.
And he also should have had a fucking 3 up, 3 down with a wreath and a fucking star in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah.
But he kept getting
told
busted.
me that after my article.
Yeah, he got busted so many fucking times. Like,
so
I mean,
so Hendo
insane.
was an E6 when I got my article as an E4, and after my article and I got busted to E3, he actually pulled me aside and he's like, "Don't let it bother you. I've been promoted more times than Sergeant Major Rosemore. And Sergeant Major Rosemore is an E9."
Yep.
He was an E6. He said that's exactly what he said to me. He's like, "This isn't going to affect you if you don't want it to. I've been promoted more times than Sergeant Major Rosemore."
Yep. Yeah, that guy, but dude, again, fucking excellent combat leader. Fucking excellent. I mean,
not so good not so good in garrison environment.
Dude, when he's bored, you're fucked.
Yeah.
When
he's bored, he's going to entertain himself at your expense.
Oh yeah. Yep. It's not going to be fun either.
That's why I said at your expense.
Yeah, I mean it's guaranteed not, and he's just a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Because he hates everything. And then when we're out doing shit though, fucking boom, boom, easy. You want somebody to keep your ass alive? Him, Duke, Kent was okay. He pissed me off when we were in Iraq because he was our platoon sergeant and he just lost his spine completely. But
well, yeah. We'll not go there.
Who else do we have? Well, Methuen.
Was.
We had Methuen. He was
Methuen was
Methuen. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yeah, we're just gonna leave it at that.
I wouldn't follow Methuen into a porta-john.
Yeah.
A clean one.
And he was my squad leader for half the deployment when we were in Iraq. So just figure that one out. Duke was my first, like my squad leader, like when I got to the unit. Well, Hendo was my first one, but like when we actually deployed, Duke was my squad leader for half of it, and then Methuen was the other half. So I had a little bit of adjustment to make.
Josart wasn't bad, but you probably didn't work with Josart very much because he was a Rest Lake guy.
I know, but like I know him, and he was also active duty Marine Corps. So
yeah.
Noticing a pattern here.
Yeah. All of the NCOs who were active duty before joining the Guard were the best ones.
Yep. My first squad leader was B, Sergeant B. And he was active duty Marine Corps and then went National Guard and taught me a lot when I was a new private.
Eads.
Taught me a lot.
I always forget about Eads.
Yeah, but he was out by the time I was in the unit.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, he went down to Alpha.
That's right.
He took an E7 slot down there.
Yeah, that's right.
And
fucking Sergeant Eads was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
If you had Eads and Hendo together, you were in for a very entertaining time.
Yeah.
Did they clash?
No,
No,
the
Okay.
opposite.
they were like this. They thought on the exact same fucking wavelength.
Yeah, they both had a very similar past when they were younger, living hard.
And then there was Newt. Newt wasn't an E6, but he finally got his fucking E5. The fact that they left him as an E4 for so fucking long was just a travesty.
Well,
How long?
6 years.
Yeah.
What is with the army and doing that?
No, it's not the Army. It's the National Guard. Because there's only a certain number of slots, and then it's
For
also a good old
E5s.
boy system, really bad.
Yeah.
Oh, so like
Yeah.
for Air Force reserves, ours like we have a limited number of E5s. So everybody can get E5, and then from there
it's the
depending
same.
on-
Unless you want to move companies, it's really hard to stay in one company and get promoted unless you're deploying. Then it's a lot easier
Right.
because they increase the size of the company and shit, and there's more slots that open up. And then
That's
what
the only
happened-
reason. That's the only reason why Newt got an E5 slot is because they made super squads.
Yep,
Like
exactly.
our squads in, well, the platoon and a half that got split off to go with Delta Company, we had 3 fire teams in a squad.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. So
we had our squads were 50% larger. That's the only, they made 50% more fire
Slots.
E5 slots.
Yep. Yeah. So
Greg Anderson wasn't bad.
Nope, not bad. We had our E5s were for the most part really good. I know you guys had 2 that were not good, but like so
3.
we had
Stobes wasn't that good.
Oh, that's right. He was an E5 on the deployment. I forgot about that.
He was an E5. He was an E5 as soon as they got back from their 04 deployment.
Yeah, and then
he was my team leader the whole fucking time, except for when I was in Duke squad.
Our E5s were actually pretty fucking good. But what sucked is that a lot of them were E4s and they wouldn't promote them, but they were in a team leader slot.
Yeah,
that was fucking stupid. So
yeah,
they were doing
Newt
an E5's job. But
when I got when I got back from my first deployment in 06, Newt had corporal stripes on.
Yeah.
Because they knew they wanted him as an E5, but they didn't have an E5 slot to put him in.
Yeah.
But then travesty of travesties, fucking Nelson and his butt buddy, whatever his name is,
Helvey,
they got E5 slots before Newt did. And they were they were spec 4s.
They were scouts. They were in the scout platoon. Who gives a fuck? But anyway,
and what it was is they were gym rats.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so fun reminiscing shit. But...
Yeah, I need to go to bed. I'm getting up at 2:00 in the morning.
That's fun. Fucking plentifully fucking stupid.
Yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, but I'm gonna actually be able to get done early tomorrow if I get up at 2:00 in the morning.
So Chris, aren't you glad you don't you wish you would have joined the Army instead of the Air Force?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah, you might actually have to know how a weapon works.
Nah, fuck, dude. I'll have computers that do that shit for me.
Push the button.
All right, algorithm, go kill the terrorists. I don't care. Nukes, whatever. Fuck it.
Who gives a fuck?
You're interrupting my steak and eggs.
Yeah.
Fucking Air Force food. My God.
Oh, dude, deployments are fucking amazing. Every month you got fucking crab and steak. I'm not even kidding. Like, there's literally it was like when we were deployed, it was the base birthday. So to celebrate all the birthdays, you got fucking a steak and crab legs. And then you get to go to the fucking pool.
We got that every 23 days.
And you get to go to the Dairy Queen right next to the pool. You could fucking.
Yeah, we didn't have a pool or a Dairy Queen, but we did get steak and lobster tail every 23 days.
You guys did.
You had a 24-hour sandwich bar that was the envy of the VBC.
Okay, yes, that is correct. Little brown guy could make a mean fucking sandwich.
That fucking sandwich bar was fucking awesome. I went to Cropper just for the fucking sandwich bar.
Dude, it was awesome because I was always on the night, or most of the time I was on the night shift. And so we'd never make meals. And they had midnight chow, but it was just the leftovers. So the Mermite that had been sitting for 12 hours already was sitting for another 7.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna risk the explosive fucking napalm diarrhea that's guaranteed out of that.
Just go down to the fucking sandwich bar and get a grilled tuna sandwich.
Grilled tuna wrap melt. That's what you do. The fucking wraps, man, they get crispy perfectly. Oh, dude, I get 2 of those fucking things, and
Get
then
a fucking panini.
dude, that was actually really. I will never bitch about that because that was fucking awesome. 24-hour sandwich bar, and then we had a fucking Indian bar, the Indian bar for all the fucking TCNs that were working, and I didn't know we could eat that stuff. Third country nationals.
Oh, so ours were called OCNs, other country nationals.
Oh yeah,
You othered them,
dude. That was the first time I had
this was by the Qataris othered them. Okay.
Yeah, the Qataris. Fuckers.
If they could probably call them legally other words, I'm sure that's what would have been happening.
Yeah, Indian food was amazing.
Oh yes, agreed. The best thing is like a month or 2 into the deployment, they fucking started letting the OCNs actually cook their own family recipes of curry. Holy shit! Like,
dude, it was.
I understand why that the British wanted to subjugate the entire world because of that. Because the spices and the food.
Fucking curry is amazing. I love curry.
That was so good.
I haven't had a good curry in so fucking long.
Dude, that shit in Iraq, they like once or twice a month. I don't know, because there's parts of India where they do eat beef, but they would make a beef curry with like cubed beef. Jesus Christ, the fucking naan with the basmati rice and the fucking the vegetable curry, dude. I made so many fucking. Oh, my mouth is just watering just thinking about it.
I want curry now.
Fucking basmati rice. Oh, dude,
it's never gold standard.
Never eaten that white ass shit again. Fucking take your peasant stuff away. Basmati for life.
Jasmine is a second, but it's a far second. Basmati is the best. And oh my God, it was just so fucking good. Just amazing.
You know, one of these weekends I might take a trip out to Fargo because there's an Indian restaurant in Fargo that I've eaten at a couple of times, and it's fucking amazing.
You're gonna go all the way to Fargo to have. There's nothing that's remotely closer that you could possibly find.
Not that I know of.
Shit, come down to where I am. I got a place like 20 minutes away.
Yeah, but that involves going to Air Force Land.
Wow. He's reserve. He's at home right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's still Air Force. If I wanted to hang out with
Space Force.
If I wanted to hang out with somebody Air Force, I'd go hang out with my brother.
Sounds lame. You're hurting my feelings.
Yeah, he actually works for KBR now, so he's not even associated with the Air Force anymore.
What a douche.
And he told me that I make more money than him. I told him what I'm on track to make this year for salary. And he's like, yeah, I'm an electrical engineer and I have all this experience working on B-52s, and you make more money than I do.
Yeah.
But he's wrapped up in a couple of the B-52 upgrade programs right now, like the tow bar that they're working on that they can't actually hook to the plane because the paperwork was filed wrong, and the engine upgrade that he's submitted a couple of official questions about that nobody in the entire Air Force or in the entire Department of Defense has thought about, and it might actually crash the entire engine upgrade program.
Yeah, man. They don't care. They just want their planes fixed.
Well, the problem is that they're supposed to be getting these. They're supposed to be getting these new engines from Rolls-Royce to put on the B-52s to upgrade them to J-spec. Well, there's a bunch of questions that my brother raised after he was involved in the project that, after working on B-52s for almost 20 years, that nobody had thought about.
This is one of those problems that the military, or like the government in general, is that they start this project, but yet never fucking integrate any of the SMEs that know what the fuck they're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And then just like, all right, this is what we're going to do. And everybody's like, this is the stupidest fucking thing. Like, so like buying IT equipment. Why the fuck do we always have the shittiest thing ever? Nothing can stop the U.S. Air Force. Fuck,
because it's cheap.
Microsoft stops the Air Force. Just loading Windows onto our PCs stops the fucking Air Force. Like, fuck that. Stupid.
Our gun trucks in Iraq use Linux.
That's probably really good because it wouldn't crash as much. Fuck, dude, like, fucking smoke
it just
some
didn't
fucking
work.
terrorists and your fucking thing just B-sods, and you're like, oh, this is the second worst thing besides that fucking IED I'm about to explode. Oh, that's fucking great. Thanks, Microsoft.
The problem is that the hardware that it was running on was so fucking out of date that it was like trying to watch porn on 56K dial-up.
Yeah.
Anyway, I need to go because I need to go to bed.
Good night.
Superty duper.
Yeah, it's wonderful.
Thanks, fuckers, for showing up and listening to rambly fucking stories about dumb shit.
About military fucking basic.
Yeah,
just
mostly,
fun
and
stories.
some deployment stories.
That's true.
Most of those aren't funny though. That's the problem. Is like most of that
Yeah.
shit just sucked. Like, ugh.
Oh shit, dude. We fucking had to bust a major for stealing people's bikes on deployment. So like we're on a fucking
You had
base that you can't leave.
bikes. You
Yeah, 'cause
had
the ba-
bicycles.
Yeah, because the base is pretty big. So like to get from like where we live to like where like the flight line and everybody else, you could bike around, right? The fucking major was just stealing people's bikes. And they fucking like went into his room, found like 5 people's bikes. Like, the fuck are you doing? So then you get arrested on a fucking military base for stealing people's bikes. Fucking idiots. That was funny. That was a fucking funny
Having
day.
bikes on a military on a deployed military base.
Nobody
That's
can stop the U.S. Air Force.
Except for Lightning Within 5 and Microsoft.
Ching ching, squeaky 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 squeaky.
Ching, ching.
All right, fuckers. Talk to you guys, all you in the chat later.
Later.